Test. Oh, motherfucker, here it is. Jesus Christ. There we go. Yes! Oh, why is it going like so? Wait. Oh, wait, I think I need to add. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 1 moment. I think I need to configure one thing here. So I'm gonna go to microphone filters. I can see that actually... I can see that we don't have a no... give me a second. I don't think I have a limiter. So I can see that... give me 2 seconds. Test. I'm gonna be a little bit loud just to increase the limiter, sorry. So I'm gonna set the limiter to minus 10 decibels. Because I can see that it can actually pop. Alright, so I don't think it's popping now. I'm sorry guys, I'm just testing the microphone, so but yeah, I don't think it's popping, so it's good. So it's good I have a limiter here. Test. Okay, good. I can see that it's better now with the limiter. That's great. Okay, cool. Alright, cool. What's up guys? What's up everybody? Little onion. I'll call you Vlado today. I just had a lot of work, man. I'll call you today. Let me just close some of this crap. And then we... I bought this game, Manor Lords. I was playing a little bit last night. Pretty interesting game. Give me 1 second. Quit. Cool. Exit. Cool. All right. All right. Ado and hi Ado, and hi everybody. And Zyre, thank you very much, man, for these PRs, man. That's pretty awesome, actually. Jesus Christ, man. I can't. It's Sunday, I think. Can't type. Did I? Okay. Cool. All right, let's set a tone for today. Let's see what we play today. It's Sunday, right? So let's should we make a new playlist maybe? No, you did more than enough, man. You did more. Okay, let's make a new playlist for today. Programmer Network Sunday Chill Public. Let's do that. Okay, let's go. Sure, we can play some Red Hot Chili Peppers. Chica is here. Let's do sure. Let's do this. Save to playlist. Programmer Network Chill Stream. Sure. Scar Tissue. Other Side. Californication. Nah, that's too mainstream. It's too mainstream. Let's go Snow Under the Bridge. Yeah, let's do that. Save to playlist. The Zephyr song, sure. We can listen to that today. Give it away, yeah. I feel like that today. I feel kinda. The Adventure of the Rain Dance, yeah, for sure. This is for sure. Let's actually play it right away. All right, give me a second. Tell me, baby. Sure. Let's go with that as well. Parallel Universe, clearly. That's we have to listen to that, right? Suck My Kiss. Yeah, definitely. Think sounds like Fortune Faded, one of my favorites. Not many people know this song, but it's a great song. Fortune Faded. Stadium Arcadium, sure. Charlie, we could do that if we wanted to. We will not. All right, I think maybe it's enough of these guys. Right? Let's go Whitesnake. You know, I'm just gonna go with whatever comes to my mind. Let's go Whitesnake, right? clearly, right? This is a classic. Another classic, right? Sure. Okay, that's sufficient, I guess. Let's go, you know what, Uriah Heep. This is, your parents probably used to listen to this. Most of us weren't born when this, Lady in Black, clearly. Easy living, I mean, of course, right? Sympathy, sure. Let's go, what else we want to listen today? Let's go Nirvana maybe, right? Nirvana. Smells like Teen Spirit, no thanks. Heart-shaped box, sure. Lithium, yeah, definitely, right? Okay. All right, what else do we want to do? Do we want to say ZZ Top a little bit, right? Definitely we want to say ZZ Top for today, right? ZZ Top. Give me all your lovin'. Well, save to library. No, save to playlist. Clearly. Led Zeppelin, right? That's what we want to listen today for sure. Some Beatles as well, right? Kashmir, right? Obviously. Immigrant Song, nah, I mean, we could go there, but will we? Probably not. Oh, you know whom? Gary Moore, man. Of course. Gary Moore we gotta play today. So we're gonna go, of course, nah, still got the blues, not really. You know what I want to listen from Gary Moore today? I want to listen to Wishing Well. That's what I want to listen. It's a very old song. Cool. Eric Clapton, and maybe, yeah. Sure, a little bit cocaine, yeah. Maybe just should we do more? I mean, come on, man, right? Pink Floyd, right? We cannot. The greatest band of all time, arguably, right? Come on. These guys are not from this planet. Yeah, I play guitar my whole life, man. I was almost. There's a lot of guitars here, right? Oh. Shit, what happened? What happened to my camera? Give me 1 second. I fucked up my camera. What happened? Oh, maybe I unplugged it. Yeah, I probably unplugged it. Give me 1 second. I need to fix my camera now. Jesus Christ, man. How did I fuck up the camera? 1 second. I don't see the picture, man. That's the problem. Yeah, I don't actually see my camera working now. Give me a second. I don't see my camera working. Camera. Very strange. Why the hell? Crap. My camera doesn't work, right? Yeah. You can't see the shit, right? Yeah. Great, definitely great start. Definitely great start. I'm fucking up everything. Absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely. All right, there we go. Cool. Well, Jesus Christ. Wait, let me configure this and then we start. Jesus Christ. All right, cool. Can I play for you something? Sure, but not now. We need to code now. But of course, I used to play before a few times, right? All right, cool. Sorry for that. So yeah, so let's just do. Yeah, so that's great. So we have a playlist for today. We're gonna play kind of something like this, right? And I actually, sorry, I forgot to take my YouTube chat. I think I'm streaming on YouTube as well. Yeah, I'm definitely streaming here. Of course, there's a million people watching. There's only me, of course. But I'm still gonna grab this chat. Ah, there are people on YouTube. Nice, okay. Well, good. I want to make sure you're awesome. Okay, cool. All right, let me get a sip of my coffee here. Ah, warm coffee. Hi there. I'm good. How are you? How is life? All right, let's get started. So today we listen to this crap. Okay, cool. Did I miss some message? My pleasure, Leo. That's a great link. That's a great link indeed. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? Barely anybody sends a message in YouTube. YouTube is not a... I'm not a most popular streamer, and I'll never be, nor, you know, YouTube is a place where people watch. There's like, I think most people that ever watched on YouTube was like 6 people or something like that, right? YouTube is not a great place for that, right? Also, my stream is, for most people, too complicated, right? Because a lot of these other streams, they're either talking bullshit or they're just doing very basic stuff, right? So that's just how it is. Programming Network is going amazing, man. I mean, it's going forward, right? It's something that's gonna take. I have no. This is just a fun stream, right? So it's moving forward for sure. All right, so let me see where I want to start today. So we kind of did this, I think. Yeah, let me just think a little bit here. I do not have any tracking, no. But I have Cloudflare has some tracking, but I don't want to track, no. So there's one bug there. So if I select a lesson and then I click add, that basically becomes that content. So there's a bug there. Could start with something simple, but it's kind of boring. Then we have this thing we have to brush up as well. What is this? This is the flashcard stuff. Yeah, so let's go to frontend, right? And let's kind of start somewhere simple today. So let's fix this thing. So let's try to have some, do I have some to-do file? No, okay, let's create one. Yeah, today we're gonna have a little bit different repertoire. So selecting a lesson and then clicking add lecture fills the form with selected. All right, what else? Then we have increase the extend draggable list in Yale with a class name. Distances can be increased between items. I know nobody knows. We'll see. Edit course details. Oh, did we get rated? Let's, how do we do that, guys? We do like shout out or something like that, right? Nice, let's do that. Shout out. Miniscraft, thank you very much for the raid. I very much appreciate it. Thanks. I hope you had a good stream. Hope you had a great stream. I mean, I was born in the Balkans. I was born there, yes. Okay, so let's just put a so description under course form is missing a required indicator, right? So let's do that. Let's go to our, where do we have that? We have a course form or something like that, right? So I guess we have description over here. Yeah, exactly, right. Ah, okay, so this is why. So let's go to our Yale and just fix up a few of these things, right? Because you can see the comment that I left. So let's go and redeploy this library, right? Okay, so let's go to what is it? What text area, right? So let's go over here and let's just extend this, and then we're gonna redeploy. Where is the required? So yeah, we are indeed actually missing required, which is super weird. So let's just make it optional, right? I mean, technically that should be it, right? Do we have an actual storybook for this guy? We do, right? So let's just say here required true. Let's go over here and let's go over here, right? All right, cool. So let's get over here. Yeah, okay. So the indicator is back here, right? Where is this thing? Let's put it over here. Required, yeah. So let's say false. Okay, great. So that's one thing, right? Was there something else that I wrote for today? Selecting a list. Oh yeah. So let's do the draggable list, and then we have to run these tests to see if we have to update something. So let's go to this draggable list, right? Yeah, Ado, I'm gonna record the next video. You know, I think I'm gonna do one video per week or maybe 2 videos per week. We'll see. Depending, like, it's very difficult, right, with these videos. It's very difficult today to compete with this algorithm, right? Because there's so many videos, and it's also hard for people. Like, it ruins the user experience for people because it's hard to also get to the good stuff because you're bombarded with so many things. Oh wow, really? What? So we are actually. Really? Am I already? Oh, nice. So no. So actually, we don't have to do that. Let me go back to my core project. So if we go to, what was it? Course details. No. What would that be? That would be. Let's search for draggable. How did we call that? Draggable list, right? Okay, so we'll fix the type thing, but it seems we're already. You haven't seen me on TikTok because I never been on that platform once in my entire life. Nor I have it, nor I have any platform except LinkedIn. So whoever you've seen, it wasn't me. I can tell you for sure. Let me just double check this. I don't use these shitty platforms. Oh, okay. So okay, good. So actually we do have that. So that's great. So let's say here call flex call, right? TSX basically just helps you with your text editor, with your IDE, right? So that's the reason why I want. Okay, so actually we have this, so that's awesome. So actually what I'm gonna do here, let's just say, so basically we have this one, right? So that's great. So this one description under course form is basic, yeah. So that's great, right? And we also had pass, required, or add required prop to text areas interface, props interface, right? So we also did that one now, right? So that's great. Okay, so let's just go here and and run these tests, right, very quickly, just so we can see if that works. Do we have to? Yeah, so probably we need to update the and we did. What is this warning here whatsoever? Divider. Huh, interesting. Classes must be an array. Okay, no, actually that is correct. It's just my tests for the divider is throwing the that's I mean expected, right? If you go to the tests for the divider, we basically have this thing exploding here. So that's kind of correct, right? Okay, great. Okay, so that's good. Let's go and bump this and push this to npm. So let's bump the version of this. Let's see. That's great. What do we have? We have, yeah. Actually, we haven't added scorpions in that playlist, so why the hell is this shit playing, man? Like, seriously, man, like, how hard is it to make a freaking list? Jesus Christ, man. Okay. Okay, so that's great. Let's push that. We've added this fella over here. We've updated the story. We've updated this thing. Okay, so let's say extend text area with required prop. Matty, my friend. Let me just ban these bots. I guess that's a fucking bot, man. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, great. So let's smack that and then create a new tag, right? So what was it? Package JSON, what was it? 171, right? So let's create a new tag and let's push to that tag, right? All right, cool. So let's go to GitHub. Let's go to our Yale library. Actions. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna wait for that. Okay, so that's awesome. We're gonna uncomment this. So we're gonna say required true. That's a tiny thing. We're gonna leave that, and then we're gonna reinstall. And what is the issue with this? On click here has a draggable item, and here we're saying something else. Okay, so let's fix that very quickly. That's awesome. Thank you everybody for your follows. How the hell did we get into? What is this, man? Ah, okay, so that's fine. That's fine. That's gonna be fixed once we reinstall. We got rid of this, right? This no longer exists on that component, so that's why it's complaining. Course details. What else do we have? Yeah, I see what's happening here, right? Name. The name is the item. That's why it's so weird. So it's gonna be item.item. Yeah, that's a little bit crappy, but that's what it is. All right, so that's fine. Let's just quickly skim through these things. Yeah, so that's fine. Let's wait for this to, yeah, so it's gonna about to get pushed to npm. Okay, but anyway, so let's go back. So we don't actually need this anymore. Neither we need this, so we can close that. So over here, so that we're gonna fix this in a second. That's great. And then we have a bug here, right? So when we select an item and then let's say add lecture, we pre-fill that, right? Zaire, please do, man, if you're around. I'll probably be streaming for like 2 hours as always. So if you have the time, come. Let's also discuss the stuff that you've done. All right, let's wait for this to get pushed to npm. Where is it? This one, right? Yeah. All right, so we're good, right? So let's, oh, did we actually bump that in the front-end project here? Whereas, no, we haven't. All right, cool. Let's reload this. All right, that's good. Let's close that. Okay, we have published it, right? So that's great as well. So let's close the Louis GUI thing. All right, so that's awesome so far. Let's actually push all of these changes because they already fixed some stuff, right? So no need really to wait. This is what we need anyway, right? I don't know what's up with the VS Code here. Sounds good, man. Thank you so much. For sure, I'm going to keep on these React series, Ado. So definitely keep watching them because as far as I can see, it seems that it is helpful. So that's great. I just wish more people can find it. Cool. Okay, great. So we deploy that. Let's see. A description of the course is missing a required indicator. So let's fix selecting a lesson. Okay, so let's fix this bug. This is basically a bug. We can just mark it as such, right? So when I click on this thing and then I click add lecture, we're basically using that as state, which makes kind of sense, right? So let's go to, where would that be? I guess, so let's just globally search for add lecture. So when I click on this bad boy here, what we say set selected, blah, 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 whatsoever, right? So we set selected, wait a minute. Yeah, so here basically, I guess we need to just reset the state, right? So let's see what state do we have. So this data, right, has to be set to null, right? So actually we are setting the data to null, so that's a little bit weird. Yeah, we are actually doing that. Give me 1 second, just yeah, that's a little bit weird. Let's just print here what happens basically. So let's select a thing. Let's also see what that red warning is. So I select a thing, right? Sure. So we have some content, blah, blah, blah. Then I click add lecture. So lecture is null, right? So basically it seems to me that we need an effect here or some way to clear these things, right? Because yeah, you can see if there's no lecture return. So that's the problem, right? I mean, to some degree it's a problem, right? Because so yeah. So, I mean, obviously, if we would just get rid of this, right, you could say that that would fix it, right? So if I do this, yeah, but then, yeah, exactly. Okay, sure. So here, do I have some initial stuff? Yeah, but we had that already before, I think. Okay. So basically here, what we would need to do is we would have to ensure that we just set the initial state here for the form, right? I mean, we would literally have to do this, right? And then, but that's not ideal. That's the problem. It's not ideal, right? So if I do this now, and then we smack this, that's great, right? But what happens if I don't select anything? I mean, I guess that's okay. What is this thing? List item cannot appear descendant of list item. So we'll actually have to fix that. We'll need, I mean, we'll just have to see where this happens, right? Okay, so that's kind of okay, I guess, right? The only thing now that I kind of dislike is this. And then we're maybe done with this, right? I hate these kind of titles. They're too big, I think. It would be better if that we reuse this thing. Okay, so let's actually see how did we build this so far? Update lecture. So we have this thing, right? Okay, and then so yeah, it would be maybe better if we would move these all of these titles, right? Like when editing a section or whatever, if we would just reuse this part here. But I don't know. Update section. Wait, let's take a look at that. Okay, and maybe one more last thing here, which would be courses, course, blah, 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 add lecture, draggable, right? Yeah. So yeah, so the only little thing, it's a tiny things we're fixing now, is that you can see that this selected state is basically handled internally by this draggable list. So if I actually cancel this, this thing still appears to be selected, right? So that kind of sucks maybe. We could lift that state up, so this component basically takes a selected item or whatever, right? We could do that, because now you can see that there's no way for us to reset that. Give me a moment. Yeah, exactly, right. Okay, let's under quotes fix that. I guess we need a different behavior. That's maybe a better way to put it, right? I guess. Let's go here. Ah, shit, that's the wrong one. Run a storybook here. All right, cool. So where is this thing? Draggable. Yeah, this guy. Okay. All right. So we have some active state, which is this one, right? So probably what we want to do is we want to lift that up. Yeah, I mean, that's literally what we want to do, right? So here on click, so let's see how we can do this intelligence. You see on click, basically we have we can use on click, right? And that on click we can use, so we don't really need to, we can simplify this even, right? So here we can just say active item ID, right, or whatever. Something like that, right? Active item ID, I guess, should be sufficient, because we can use on click to, when you click on one of them, we can then set the state outside, right? So essentially here, we can get rid of this crap, and then we can just say active item ID, and then over here, we can, yeah, so we're calling here, so we're not going to do it internally. Yeah, right, exactly. And then here we can say active item ID. Then we can go to the storybook here and just see if it works, right? So we can say active item ID, let's say 3. Or 2. What is this? With 1 item. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, so let's mag this to a different story. Maybe over here. Yeah. Yeah, so here is, it's active now. Active item ID 1. Yeah, and then if we don't pass it, nothing should be active, right? Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, okay, so that's I think what we need. That's pretty much what we need. Let's just run the tests. Actually, we didn't test this component. That's weird. Okay, we'll need to do that eventually. Okay. Let's push this again. Active item ID, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's push this to master first, and then create a tag for it, right? Beautiful. Okay, cool. So that should be fine, right? And then if we get over here, so this draggable list is now going to have an active. And I mean, I'm sure that we already have such a state somewhere anyway, right? So we have the selected, right? This data should have an ID, right? What is the type of this use state? Where is it? Initial state. Selected, yeah, this guy, right? This data shouldn't really be any, but it doesn't really matter. But in theory, it should be like selected.data.id, right? So draggable list. Here, eventually, once this is deployed, we'll be able to say, what was it? How did we name it? Active item ID, right? Something like that. And then we'll be able to say, I guess, selected.data.id. We'll have to test that, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that should suffice for the most part. Let's wait for this guy to get out there. Okay, cool. Where is this to do we've created? So we'll mark that as done soon. So let's go ahead and find more issues. Probably there are more. Strange. Update course. Oh, that's why. Okay, I see. Thank you everybody for your follows. Appreciate it. Okay, so that's still complaining. Yeah, okay, it's deployed. So let's bump the version here as always, and let's close this. Let's PMI. Cool. Let's reload this so TS server restarts and understands stuff. Alright, so if we go back here now. Okay. There we go. So it works, right? You can see. So it's using that ID I'm giving it. And then if we cancel, since we're going to clear that state anyway, that's no longer selected. Okay, so that works. So we can say that's also done now, right? Okay, cool. Okay, great. Alright, so that's fine, I guess. I don't know what I think we'll have to. I'll need your guys' help to test if anything else is broken. Then if we get into this view where you're actually seeing your stuff, maybe only one thing that I saw being annoying when you're in the dashboard and you actually click here, it's taking you to the course itself. And I think most people would expect that you get in an actual edit mode, right? What do you think? I just feel it's weird because you're in the dashboard. You probably want to edit your course, or maybe it's clear enough, right? I don't actually know. All right, let's push this to production. And I always keep forgetting to pin this thing, man. Jesus Christ. Simple Cookies here. Hey, buddy, how's life? By the way, Ado, if you're still there, ask some questions now. We can take a few minutes for questions. And of course, if anybody else has some. Yeah, my wife and kid went outside, so I'm just using this opportunity to quickly stream, and then I'm gonna spend the day with them. But he's good. He got better. He's he has chicken pox or whatever you call them in English. But that's over now. So he's back to kindergarten and stuff like that. So yeah, for sure. Give me 2 seconds. Ouch. All right, cool. But yeah, if there's if anybody has any discussions or you want my opinion on something, please yeah, just ask. Okay, so this is kind of pretty stable now. I need more ideas myself to but let's go to because yeah, there's a bunch of these. So, and it would also be super awesome to. Okay, we'll need to generate some faker data for this. Give me 1 second. Let me just drink some water. 1 moment. Alrighty, so let's, it's been a while, so let's just randomly smack in some stuff in here, just so we can see if this still works. Afghanistan, tags, whatever. Create a meetup. Okay, we're not really getting much, are we? Okay, that's good. In a way, it's good, so let's we need to go through these things and finalize them and fix them. So actually, the clicking on that create does nothing, right? I guess. And we need to fix that single warning we have. Okay, so let's go to this organize a meetup thing, right? Meetup form, right? Yes. Handle create meetup. So are we actually calling this? Let's double check. Is this actually ever being called? Nope. So clicking on this create basically does nothing, right? Yes, exactly. Okay. No problem. Let's fix that. Let's find a button here. There has to be a button, right? It's this one, and on click, handle save or update. So it's this thing, right? Oh, wow. What? Okay, so this is the problem, most likely, right? So most likely we fail with validation here. And then that's why we don't see anything, right? So if I smack this exactly, right? My validation fails. Data, blah, blah, blah. That's a little bit weird. Okay. But what is the actual error? I mean, I've wrote this library, this library for validation. So maybe did I find a bug in it? Maybe because is dirty is valid. So it is valid, but it's failing. That makes 0 sense. What's happening? Wait. So on click call this, right? Yeah. Attitude so divine, hell an elevator all the while. Maybe let's take a look at the schema. So these are the required things, right? So we have the country, we have the tags, which we're going to check in a second, we have the description, and we have the title, and maybe the tags schema has changed. Yeah, this is the problem, right? It does that already. It does that already. But I think this is some sort of an exception here. Because I believe the reason why it fails is probably this. Yeah, because I've changed that, right? So we're no longer actually sending these things. We're now sending the actual tag IDs, right? So if I take a look at this here. So tags, yeah, over here, yes. So form state tags, yes. So that's fine. That's great. All good, all good. So basically these fellas over here are now sending the IDs, which is actually fine. That's what I want. So the only really thing we need to do, we'll need to probably update the API. But over here we just have to say the items is so basically we need something like this, right? So divine. All right. So this is what we need, right? And then min items, right? 1. Most likely, right? Something like this, right? And actually this min items is outside already. So technically we're good, right? So that's great. So that's one thing for sure that's off. And then this guy is gonna now complain because, yeah, so this is not the case, right? So emit a body, so we need to also say that this is a, so we need to update both the interface and the AJV, another JSON validator schema, right? Okay, well, we did update that whatsoever, so why is this fella complaining? Let's see. I did the wrong thing in the schema. No, the schema is fine. Oh, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much. Somebody is paying attention. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's back. Okay, cool. So let's try that again. So I'm sure that this was one of the issues. But I think my API now is going to complain, which is fine. I hope it does. Because I would expect it to complain. Okay, this, Afghanistan, create. Okay, there we go. Good. So the API should have failed now with the same thing. Yeah, tags must be object. Great. Okay. I mean, I cannot, man. I spend 6 hours a week on this entire project. I cannot do everything, right? I mean, you know, it's you know, what did I want to do? Meetup cover photos, meetup schema. So where is it? So let's, I guess, create meetup, right? So let's go over here. Yep, so that's awesome. So we're gonna go basically over here, right? And this is where the schema is in the API, and it's the same problem pretty much, right? So the tags is type array. That's a bit strange. Wow. Okay. So here we have to say items type okay, so that's good, I guess. And then if we get over here, right? So we also, I'm probably doing something with the tags in the API. Yeah, exactly, right? So basically the tag now basically is just a number. So essentially we can just say tag ID here instead, right? And that should do. So basically we can do this. No, we don't have the tests for that simple cookie. You're absolutely right. We do have some tests, but yes, you're absolutely right. Okay, so let's try this now. You're absolutely right. I don't disagree with you at all. It would be nice if there's a lot of things, right? Andorra, agile, create. Ah, it exceeded. I added too much stuff. Let's try that again. Okay, cool. Create. Ah, I'm not so sure anymore about that. Didn't we update that? Give me a second. Router. Oh shit, man. We updated the actual response schema, did we? Yeah. We made a little mistake there, didn't we? I mean, yeah, so here probably we will actually want to return this, right? But we need to update the body schema, right? So this was actually fine in a way, right? So we want to go here and update this bad boy, right? Oops. Right, so here we have the items, and this is going to be an array of numbers, right? Okay, awesome, right? So now we can try again. And actually, we have another problem, a little UX problem to say, right? Let's go to this meetup form, because this meetup form is kind of... so there's a little UX issue that I just saw, right? So you can see that because... So the issue that I'm seeing here is... Give me 1 second. Yeah, so you can see we're basically... So let's try to smack this guy in a try and catch. That is the unfortunate thing of exception handling, right? Let's go back here and let me revert this. I want it to fail again. So we have to make sure that we don't close the form if this fails, right? Regardless of this issue, right? So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do whatever, and then we're gonna... Ah, come on. Okay. All right. Cool. Albania. Let's go. Create. So we basically passed this point. I guess we got either here and then... Yeah, most likely it is, but it shouldn't be, right? Because, but yeah, the problem is, yeah, we'll see. But it is most likely this, because this doesn't actually fail, which is a problem. So we need to fix that. So let's not, let's be careful what we actually fix here, right? We have to fix two things. One thing was just the schema. That's easy, right? Right? And another problem is, why do we get to this point in the first place, right? So let's see here, handle update. So if we go to handle update meetup over here, right? Ah, this is why. We have the handle update, and what about handle create? Handle create meetup over here, right? So yeah, this is the problem, right? So we fail, and then we call this, so that's not correct, right? So we basically want to say, hey, you know, if you succeed with this, right, do this, right? And then we don't really need a finally here, right? So this would be that UX fix, right? Give me 1 second, fellas. I'm with you in a moment. Let me just fix this very quickly. All right, good. That's literally what we want. We want this error, right? And actually, we can then handle it there, right? So what we can do, in fact, because we're calling this, so we can localize the error there instead, right? So we can do this, right? We can do that, and then we can kind of go back here and then do this, right? You can import this service, and then we can say here error.message, right? Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, exactly. Let's make sure that's actually the error we're getting. Yeah, that is the error we're... Okay, so that is now fixed, right? So that's what I wanted, right? So if we pass this point, right, and we call this and any of these things fail, well then, right, we should be getting there. So that is fine. And now we can actually go and do this as well, items type number, which basically should let us create this thing, right? And it did, I guess. Did we actually create that meetup now, or did we not? Let's take a look at our database. Where is our database client? Meetup. Yeah, we did in fact create it. Yes, here it is, cover image, blah, blah, blah. And it seems that we're just not calling it here. Okay, let me just read some of the questions. I don't know what these there's a lot of bots today, man. I'm not sure what's up with these bots. It's crazy, man. It's too many. Why the fuck are these bots like following me? Is there a way to... Ah, so we're not actually calling this get meetups at all. That's why, right? So this seems to be a problem. Well, yeah. So yeah, so it's been a long time since I've been messing with this, right? And now we're actually calling that again, right? Yep. So now they're here and editing is not going to do much, right? So that's cool. But yeah, we can see that now, in fact, they're appearing here yet again. Let me just think a little bit here. Let me just think a little bit here. I wonder if I should move this to Redux, because I do want to cache this, I guess, because the chance of this data changing is absolutely marginally low. But okay, before we prematurely do that, let's activate the rest of the things, right? On item delete, on item edit, right, and stuff like that. On item edit, go there. Okay, sure. I've made this a generic, right? So give me one moment. on item, click on item edit, handle edit. I see. Oh, meetup item. Ah, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. So this crap actually, I suppose, should be somewhere here, right? I suppose. Now it should not complain, right? So if we smack this bad boy, it should... Yeah, there we go. Okay, almost. But it's taking us there. Organize my first event. Okay. So that's great. That's awesome. Then we have an item delete as well, right? Which we need to give it, right? So let's just... and this should be handle item, right? But that's my on item delete. Let's just call these things properly, right? So let's call it handle edit and handle delete, right? Cool. So let's just see if the handler is being called when we click it. It does. Beautiful. And we're gonna have to make sure that this cascades in our database. Actually, I don't remember how I did that, to be very frank with you. We'll need to make sure when we delete a course, I don't know, we should delete it. If we should do a soft delete or an actual delete, but we will need to make sure it cascades because there's a bunch of things to remove. Same goes with courses. When you remove a course, we need to remove all the sections and all the lectures and all the members part of that and stuff. So I'll need to do that probably off stream. Okay, so this is awesome. I mean, all of this is still working. It's just, let me just do one thing here. Yeah, there's some padding top 16 somewhere. Probably don't want this anymore. Dashboard meetup, yeah. Okay. All right, that's cool. What is the 0 here? So we have some I think your rather for description is lacking the relevant role. Aha, I see. Yeah, it most likely is. Let's take a look at that in a second. No events yet. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Wait a minute. Events. Why would that not be an array? That makes no sense. And it doesn't matter, man. These details are so irrelevant at this stage of the product, right? That even thinking about them is a huge waste of time. Let's try to make someone create a meetup, right? Or a course or whatever, and then get there. You're 100% right. It would be silly to disagree with you. But we're so far from these places, right, of perfection that, you know, it's just like I cannot express how irrelevant that is at this point, right? Because, you know, I can go and find 5,000 things like that in any product out there, right? So at this stage, at this point in time, like, I don't care if we have a role or something like that, right? Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the thing is, yeah, that is the unfortunate thing with testing library today and stuff, right? You need to kind of decorate under quotes a lot of these things so you can target them and stuff for that, right? But our core library is almost fully tested. This UI library that I wrote, that's fully tested almost. Yeah, but I feel you, right? At least for that specific reasons to now, it would be useful indeed that you can target things by something, right? I'm with you. Where the hell was this man? Where? Yeah, I guess it's over here. Right? No events yet. Huh. What? Oh. No, it's quite the opposite, right? So we messed this one up. Yeah, this one is fine. Okay. Let's go and take a look at one thingy. Let's go to resources, right? And let's go to icons. And let's go and see event or something. Let's search for an icon called event. I guess some sort of calendar there would be better, right? Maybe. What if we try that? What in here we say icon calendar something, right? Maybe. And I don't know what's up with VS Code today. It's farting out a bit, to be honest. It's not the greatest icon, I know. You should probably replace that at one point, but right now it's not very relevant, but I should probably find a better icon. This kind of looks a little bit shitty. It's okay, actually. Okay, organize my first event. So far, right, we got... And also I can see that my routing here, so let's go and fix that. I have this little hook I wrote that kind of handles the... Yeah, so over here, right, so you can see that when we are in this state, meetup, the sidebar item should be meetup, should be active, right? So meetup dashboard, manage meetup. What about if I'm like here and I go into this mode? So that's correct, right? Manage meetup events, dashboard meetups, dashboard manage meetup. Huh, very weird. So why is it not? Yeah, that's weird. Active routes mapping. So we'll need to, let's maybe go a little bit down here. Meetups, yes. All right, so let's debug this. This use tabs location. This is my own hook, right? So why is it failing to... find tab index. So we have the actual tab name, which is this. How did I implement this? And then we have the tabs, which is what? Which is all tabs, right? Yeah. This is called meetups. Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me check one thing. So this is, if I go over here, for instance, manage articles. Master, good day, buddy. How is life? Meetups. Yes. Manage article. Yeah, it's sunny here in Copenhagen as well. Looking forward for my wife and kid to come back. Then we're gonna go out. Yeah, so this current tab index returns basically a wrong thing. So in this context, what does it return actually? Give me a second. So this. All right, so we'll write that down. It's okay. It's okay. I'll just write that one down as a bug, and then I'll fix it. Let's not get carried away. Let's just say here, managing the meetup or a meetup event doesn't set the proper index in the sidebar, and account menu is selected instead. So let's just say that we need to do that, but not now. Okay. Okay, so let's keep on going, right? So now let's try to do this. This is a meetup event. Start date. End date. Hopefully it cannot be the, so let's say tomorrow, whatever. Location type address. This is a meetup event. Event URL google.com spots5. Okay, for some reason here, oh, I see why. So let's go to organize. Yeah, exactly. And then somewhere, I guess we have form, event form, yes. And here we have what is it called? A summary, right? Yeah. So yeah, so here we're just gonna say, hey buddy, you are also required, right? It's just so we can smack this thing here. Okay, cool. So that should be fine now. Let's just pick some date. We'll need to ensure here that min and max dates and stuff are properly set. Event URL. All right, so did we in fact create this, or did we not? Let's take a look at our database. Let's go to meetup event. Yeah, we did in fact create it. Beautiful. So we just need to now fetch these events, right? I'm gonna read that master in a second. Let me just focus on this for a moment, please. So I guess, so yeah, so we're basically, yeah, so now we are in a meetup view somewhere, right? So, and we just need to dashboard meetup, right? So over here, I'm sure that I'm just not calling that anymore. Get events. Yeah, actually, we are calling get events, right? So what's happening? Maybe we're not. Oh, wow. Wait, meetups. Edit. Oh, yeah, we are actually calling it. That's weird. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Let me just close the API here. I'm just going to push these things I've done so far to production again. We're still, you know, it's just better to just incrementally smack these things. And then I'll need to fix some other things as well. Ah, we need to deploy the API as well. Okay, we'll do that in a second. Factor, yeah. Okay, let's make this. Let's push the API as well, actually, because we had that change of schema, right? So let's deploy this to Hetzner as well, and then we'll probably need to change more schemas, because I'm sure for the event and stuff, it's gonna. What did I do with the faker? What's up with the VS Code today, man? We're behaving so weird. All right, cool. All right, since we're deploying the backend, let's make sure that that succeeds. So let's wait for our CI here, and while I'm waiting for that, let's see if there's any questions. Let's do a few of questions if you guys have, or if I missed some, please smack them here again. Let's see if there's anything I can help anyone with, share some opinion and stuff. I like these types of things, so if somebody has something, please ask. I think it's always nice to discuss some of these things. Otherwise, we continue just programming. All right. Well, if somebody has one, you can ask it. I'm happy to respond. Let's wait for this to deploy. Just gonna wait a second for my backend to deploy. Need to make sure that the database is backed up and all of that stuff, so build and push. Okay, we're just doing the Docker Hub stuff. Building and pushing an image to Docker Hub. Then we're gonna back up the database, deploy this and stuff. Did we already kill the backend? No. Did actually any of you sign up today? Fubar, Nikola Christov. Well, hey, actually, yeah, some of you did. 3 new users today. That's awesome. Great. Cool. You guys should read this article and show some support to this fella if you get a chance. I think this is pretty awesome initiative. If you get a chance, give it a like and stuff like that. Wait, I'm deploying the stuff now, so give it a second. We're in the middle of restarting the backend. Did we actually successfully back up the database? Let's see. Yeah, we did. Okay, great. Okay, good. We're back online. Are we? Beautiful. Okay. Okay, great, great, great. Awesome. Okay, so getting back to this thing, right? Edit meetup, so that's good cover image. So we need to test this. Can we still upload the cover image for this? I don't remember. Let's try upload. So we need to go through all of these features we built before and try it. Okay, so we'll actually see about that. That's okay. So let's just write that down. As long as we upload cover image for a meetup. We just need to, I mean, all of this functionality has been implemented long ago. It's just haven't been working on these things, and we need to finalize them. So there's this one, And now we need to basically able to edit an event and stuff like that. Organize an event. So yeah, this is organizing a new one. And now we need to basically, okay. And this would be an event. So let's close this stuff. So this now here basically is event item or whatever, or event something, meetup event. Dashboard meetup. Let's just close a bunch of this stuff. So it is for sure inside of dashboard meetup right over here. So we are in fact calling this, it's loading, blah, blah, blah. I mean, technically we're missing a try catch due to the exception handling in JS. So basically, yeah, let's just say here, we could use a finally as well, but it doesn't really matter. And we want to say here, what is it? What is the toaster service? Toast service. How did I call it? Toaster service dot error. There was an error fetching the events, right? So let's explicitly throw this just so we can see if we get that error properly. Throw new error. There was an error fetching the events. In fact, you know what? This error, I'm just gonna ad hoc kind of do these things. Where do we have this toast? There's this toaster defined somewhere over here. Toast options, right? Okay. So where's my toaster service? I'm sure that I have one somewhere. I guess we have services and then toast. Yeah, exactly. This BG rows 600 is super radical stuff, right? Do I have this? Do I have this as part of Yale? Let me see. Or this is no. I guess this is just internal. I didn't export this to this library. No, okay. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Do I have a story or storybook or something? No. So let me just leave it here for like 52 seconds when it happens, just so we can we can style it a little bit. There was an error fetching the events, yeah. So that's super rad, right? That's like mega rad. It's like you're getting an impression that, do we want that to be a rad? Does it have to be a rad? What do you guys think? I don't think it has to be rad. I think we should maybe try to make it text BG primary background color. BG primary. Nah, that's bad. BG primary BG color, right? Let's just try that. Try border to border, and we should probably move this into some reusable utility because we keep reusing these borders. I think we're gonna do that soon once we kind of find the pattern, as I said many times. So border to border primary text color /20, and then text BG primary, maybe text primary, maybe just text primary text color. Is that the one? Yeah, we could not fetch your course, please try again later. Yeah, this one here. So that I maybe like a little bit better. Can we do that though? Rounded none, okay. Do we need this important here? What do you guys think? I don't know, text. Yeah, maybe we can leave that as such, right? Just so it's not that radical. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, cool. All right, great. So let's get back here. We're throwing this explicit error just for the sake of testing. So meetups, edit. This project is live already. You can sign up. You can just go to programmer.network. Unless I'm talking to a bot, I hope not, because it's full of bots today. I don't know what the hell is happening. Okay, I have this component called actions something. Once I see it, I'll know. Maybe item actions or something like that, right? Yeah, I think I call it, what? Yeah, item actions, exactly. Beautiful. Dashboard list layout. All right, that's actually correct. So how come we don't see this in the context of dashboard meetup? Because we're probably not using the layout here, right? Yeah, most likely. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's good to know, because we can actually, we just have to I have built a team. So I went one step further, and I've created this team builder. So we don't have dark and white theme. You can build your own theme, right? So you can see you can build your own theme however you want. So it's not just black and white. It's like you can choose your own theme. Rebecca, my friend. Hey there. Good to see you. Good to see you. What did I want to do? What? Okay, yeah. So we can see here in the dashboard meetup that I really want to use the list layout. So let's find other. So that's great. So this is one we're gonna generalize. Where is this dashboard list layout? Where the hell am I? Dashboard list layout. Yeah. So you can see we just need to take. I mean, we need to literally like. I literally need to do like this. And then the dashboard meetup needs to be converted into that, right? Resistance is futile, right? Or something like that. Title, okay. So basically we need to pretty much do this. So let's say CTA. We don't have a CTA here. Okay, but yeah, I see what's happening, right? Okay, so how do I do this in the easiest possible way? So I do this. Yeah, but we just need to turn this into a dashboard list layout, right? So fundamentally, I need to take this fella, right? And basically return it instead of this fella below, right? So so let's kind of replicate that, right? So we have the title here, which we're gonna basically smack in here, right? Yep. We have the description, which, do we have the description? Yeah, we do. Beautiful. I'm not sure how did you relate Stack Overflow with this. If you go to the project, there's Stack Overflow has nothing to do with this, unless you can elaborate why do you think it looks like Stack Overflow? Like, I literally can't find any resemblance of these two projects at all, actually. Stack Overflow is literally like a forum for posting questions. This is not that. Handle delete. So let's say here const handle delete. Const handle edit. What was it? Let's import this bad boy. icon calendar, right? That's what we wanted there. This should be events, or what do we have here? Meetup events, how did I call it? If we scroll a bit up, we have events, yes, exactly, right? It's YouTube, it's somebody posting on YouTube. Why are we not seeing comments from YouTube here? That's so weird. Usually we see them. That's weird, okay. Is loading events, okay. Is loading events. Let me just comment this one out. And then here we have this component that basically we're saying, hey, so I guess for in this case for us, so let me just clean this up. So edit meetup. No, actually, no, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so let's, and then meetup event. Let's just return here's hello world or whatever. We just want to make this work. Hello world. Okay, so now if I get back here, yeah, great. So we're almost there. So you can see we're kind of slowly replacing. And we'll eventually probably even go one step further and generalize even this, because I think we can. But for now, let's not do that yet. We need to see these patterns fully emerge before we try to become too clever. And then here we're going to say, what is this? This is basically a dashboard meetup item component, whatever we want to call it. It doesn't really matter now. And then we're going to have functional component. This item is going to have what? Author, username, articles. Yeah, let's screw that for now. Item summary. Yeah, let's just see what do we have here. Let's just for now do this number. We just want to kind of make it work, and then let's just say here console log. Oops, console.log. Hey Joe. We can just say here also, I guess, title as well, right? Title string. Maybe summary as well. String, right? Sure. Then we do this. And then we go. If we get over here, so here we're going to have dashboard meetup. What was it? Dashboard meetup item, right? This guy. Okay, so if we get back here, we should see this now. Now we actually see these things. Okay, great. And we have this little overflowing issue now. Okay, so we're kind of slowly smacking it in there. Nice. Handle delete. Let's get rid of this. Dashboard manage me. Okay, on item create, that's not correct anymore. This is not also correct. This should be basically organize. And if we actually get down here, we have these messages, right? So we have a call to action here, which I'll just grab so I can actually replace these things. So if I just put it here for the sake of seeing what I had before, so we have item calendar, title is no events yet. Beautiful. Then we have start by organizing your first event. That's the subtitle, yeah. And then we do have a button text there, right? Yeah, organize your first event, sure. And then once you click it, we're like, yep, sure, man, cool. It's a cool story. And then we can get rid of this. Beautiful. And then let's just clean this up here. Is there something else we need? Start date and the date. So this was basically our, I see. So you can see this was basically our single item type of details that we need. So if I grab this thing and I go a little bit up over here, we'll basically just smack this here so I can merge what I had before. So this was the navigate that we basically do need. I'll clean this one up. This basically should be a item ID, right? That's actually inaccurate. We don't really need that. And then these are the dates of the event. I mean, sure. So we could say here just for now, and then we're going to replace this with the proper. Actually, we can just, I do have these, all of these types, right? Pretty well organized. So I'm going to say meetups.I meetup event. And that namespace basically is, yeah, enum event. So yeah, sure. Okay. So then I can basically have a h4 here. So I'll just smack this for now. And then we can decorate it and improve it. So I'll just do this, and then I'll say, hey, event, we can destructure that later. Actually, item, and then item, and then I can do this, right? Then we can get rid of this. Cool, okay, and I actually don't want it to be the part of the h4. Let's put it below the h4, because then it's going to be pretty huge. Yeah, exactly, right? And then we can just say flex call or something like that, right? And let's not item center anything here. For now, it doesn't really matter, right? Well, this is the style of this is the least of my concerns. Now we're just building back, making sure this still works as it did before. And then when I click on it, this goes to a wrong place, right? Exactly. Okay. So let's just say here to do. Navigate to the correct route for editing on the event. Cool. So that's great. Is editable, blah, blah, blah. Let's scroll down. Is there something else? Meetup form. So we need the meetup form. Meetup form. We don't really need a meetup form here, I suppose. So when I click edit, we'll need to, yeah, okay, so that's what the navigate is going to do, right? So if we actually go to the dashboard, manage meetup, right? So basically this is where we want to navigate, right? Ah, I see, okay, okay. I have wrote everything myself, of course. You can find my LinkedIn somewhere in the Twitch stream. I think that's the easiest to find what I do and where I work. Also responding now to YouTube as well. Sorry, I don't know why this stuff is not seen on the screen there. Usually it is. Okay, so this is where we want to basically dashboard meetup. So we basically want to... So this is the slug of the meetup, and then we have the event, and then this is the slug technically, yeah. So we'll need to, unfortunately, we'll need to update the API as well, because if we take a look at our database, meetup event, right, doesn't really have a slug right now. Oh, actually it has a slug. Oh, beautiful. That's awesome. Beautiful. Oh. I actually forgot about that. Great. Okay, well, I did it already, so that's awesome. Yeah. So this is basically where we want to take the user, right? So manage, yeah. So this is where we want to take the user. Let's smack it here in a template literal, right? And this is the slug of the meetup. So let's see what the item actually has here. Am I doing a left join in the API or am I not? So we have the slug. This is a meetup event. We have attendees. I mean, we can get basically we can get the slug of the meetup. We can get the slug of a meetup from the URL parameters, so that's kind of fine, right? Is that what you're trying to do? Okay, so it's a little bit weird though. So here we're getting, wait a minute, so we're getting the actual event type meetup event URL location. This is a meetup event, so we're getting the actually the event here, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's actually fine. I mean, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so so we have the navigate here anyway, right? We need the location as well, right? So here we have to say const location is use location, right? This is the HTML5 history API, right? And then if I print that, we should get a path name and blah blah blah. Do we have any URL parameters? Nah. Yeah, we actually do. We have we have a state only here, but the state is not going to work like that because this only works if you actually follow the links, right? If you directly come here, the state is going to be null. Organizer, description, blah, 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 tags, slug. So this is the slug, yeah. So weird, okay. Yeah, that's a little bit weird, okay. Actually, no, it's not weird at all. We need params, right? We need to use params instead, right? So that's why it's weird, right? So that's what we need. So if we use the params, we're gonna get a slug there. Okay. It's Chrome. So basically, yeah, so here we can now say manage meetup. Then here is gonna be params. Params.slug, which is the slug of the actual meetup. And then here we're gonna have the item.slug, which is the event slug. So item.slug, right? So now in theory, if I click this, it should take us there, and it does. That's great. That's awesome. Okay. That is perfectly fine. We're failing because of some other reason, and that's great. So that's, yeah. So this is the slug, then event, and then the slug of the event. So that's great. Okay, cool. So that works now, and the issue we're getting there now is unrelated to this. So that's cool. And then now the next thing is if we edit this thing, we want to edit the actual meetup, right? Do I have a event form or something? Yeah, I forgot I did this so long ago. So I do have the form for the event, right? So this is basically the only thing we need to trigger. So on clicking on the so basically here, handle edit, when we click on this bad boy here, we really want to navigate somewhere as well, right? Oh, it's always a navigate pretty much, right? So over here, we want to actually, let's dashboard meetup, let's just close a bunch of this crap. So basically, I think we pretty much want to do more or less this, right? Yeah, this is what we want to do, right? Pretty much. And then, so this should be basically the event or whatever. Let's call it event here. Yeah, we can't rely on this. That's the problem, right? This only works if you follow the links, which is a little bit dangerous. So, right, so here we'll also say use params, right? We're gonna import that. Actually, sorry. Just say use. I find the separate containers for different profiles quite exciting, but not had a chance to use them. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of stuff you can fill in this platform, right? And a lot of people don't really care about most of these things. So I'm definitely with you. I'm definitely with you. So okay, so this probably is gonna still fail, right? So if let's just clean up all of the consoles because they're a little bit too noisy. So I'll just get rid of that. Dashboard meetups, that's okay. No, so actually that's fine. Dashboard meetups, dashboard meetup. So let's print this, make sure that yeah, so let's print this, make sure that it's fine. And if we click this, it's gonna explode, which is also fine. Then we're gonna focus on fixing that. So let's just make sure, yeah, so that is correct. Okay, so that's fine. So let's go here. So the question is, are we actually getting to this point at all? Manage meetup slug event, right? So the question is, are we actually getting to this point? Are we getting into this component at all? Wonderful tonight, Eric Clapton. Edit. So we're not actually getting there. So why are we? So basically, I see what the problem is. Sure, no problem. The problem is that we're not giving it the proper URL, right? We're missing the piece of that URL, right? So we need to, let's go back to this fella here. So you can see we're basically missing this thing, right? This portion of the URL. So we're basically missing this. Dashboard, meetups, manage, meetup, whatever, I think. Numinex, my friend. Finally, he's here. What's up with you, man? What's up with you? Dashboard, meetups. Wait, let me try some other endpoint. Let me try this one. No, okay, wait a minute. So I think it's like this actually instead, right? So we now go to meetups, we go to a single meetup, and we want to edit an event. Okay, looks promising now. Yep, look, great. Okay, we are landing now here. Finally, it didn't show up for one stream. I mean, I'm just spoiled, right? You spoiled me. So you can't blame me for that, can you? Okay, let's see why this guy is farting out. Yeah, finally Numinex. Like, the guy wasn't here for like 3 seconds. I know, man. I feel you. Okay, so I see what's happening. So the reason why this is farting out is because I'm expecting the event and meetup coming from the HTML5 history API, right? So basically what I'm expecting is that when I navigate, that I'm passing the actual event data and the meetup data, which I'm not, right? So here we can in fact paste that, but pass that, right? So we say state, right? And we say event and meetup as well. But this is a little bit scary. We'll have to safeguard ourselves against this, right? Because this is going to work as long as you're following the HTML history APIs, you're pushing these things through the router. But if you try to access this link directly, it's going to fart out, right? So as you can see now, it works because we're passing that state through the basically we're doing things like we're using the history object in the browser, right, as this guy, and then we're saying history, you know, dot push state whatever, or replace state depending, and then we give it a data URL, blah blah blah, right? So that's kind of what's happening behind the scenes. Give me 2 seconds. But okay, good. We are kind of smacking it slowly down, right? So you can see that it does in fact actually. So we're now here. View event, we can go to the event. So we're kind of cycling back to how things were long ago when I was working on this feature, and now we're gonna, in the next couple of streams, we're gonna finalize this and improve and make sure it has no bugs and stuff like that. So good, we can kind of almost go through the whole cycle of organizing your meetup. Just keep in mind for those of you, so the inspiration for the meetups is the meetup.com. So basically what we have here is literally what they have. You have a meetup, which is a top level entity, and then you create events off of meetups, right? So you create an entity called, let's say, JavaScript Copenhagen, and then you organize events, and then you have attendees, and people can join, blah, blah, blah. So we have all of that, and we're just now, so basically this is the inspiration, is just, so that's what we're doing just as part of the entire network, right? So, okay, so you can go through this full cycle more or less. Of course, there's going to be more bugs, I'm sure. Like, for example, if we try, in fact, updating this, probably we're not going to even call the update, but let's kind of keep on slamming these guys, right? So update. Oh, wow. Actually, that did yeah, actually it does work. Okay, well, that's cool. The only thing that didn't work, right, we didn't update the rest of the state, right? So that's what we need to do. So if I do this now, if we try, in fact, updating this, and if we actually click update, right, we just have to make sure that when we get back here that the state is updated, right? So most likely we're not. Okay, so let's, I mean, that's great. That's awesome. So let's go to the event form or whatever. Forms, event form. So I guess this is the one, right? Wait, what is this? No, that's not the one. No, that's not the view that I want. Yeah, for sure. In the next couple of streams, we should be having all of these things stable, hopefully, and then I can actually start sharing that this thing exists with people on LinkedIn and stuff like that. I never shared it with anyone because I don't want to share something that it's not complete, right? Handle attend events. Oh no, that's not the one. So okay, so basically, so what do we do? So essentially, when we call an update here, when we click update, right, we need to. So if I go here, I love you, Leo, and I click update, right? We need to make sure when we get back to this place that is in fact updated, right? So we need to update the list. The meetup list. Let's see. So what is this? Dashboard meetup is creating a meetup. Handle create meetup. That's a little bit weird. Yeah, right. Handle cancel. Okay. So that's all awesome. That's all great. But wait a minute. Dashboard meetup. So we no longer need that. We no longer need this for now. Dashboard meetup event. Yeah, this is the view. And this one is going to trigger going to over here, right, to this dashboard meetup event. Yeah, so this is the form. Yeah, this is for sure the form, right? Yeah. Organize an event. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, so moving this to Redux to some degree would help, right? Especially because of global state. We could do that, in fact. Easily, but I'm not going to do it until it fully works, and we will probably lift this up mainly because of various other reasons. Caching in it is going to take us 20 minutes to literally just create a slice in RTK for this, but we don't care. Okay, handle update events. So when we do this, we basically, okay, so when we do a successful update, we also need to try and catch these things, right? So let's just kind of safeguard ourselves against this, right? So dashboard. Let's say catch, right? And then of course, so we're not gonna throw from here. We can just say, hey, toast. What's my service? Toast service. Yeah, okay. Toast. I keep forgetting that. .error, right? And we're gonna do the same over here for the update, right? Create an event. Okay, sure. So try, right? Catch error, and yeah, Copilot is gonna be smart enough to infer the knowledge from. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, verbosity can be good, right? So definitely, it's better than using any, right? You should just disable any. I mean, the unfortunate thing with try and catch is this guy has to be any or unknown. So that's kind of shitty part of TypeScript, right? But you can always then, yeah. Okay, give me a second. What did I want to do? Yeah, okay. So you can see now when we successfully update, I push back the updated state back to the actual meetup, right? Which means that we couldn't, in theory, we're kind of almost ping-ponging the state back and forth using HTML Live History API. So when I actually, when I'm here basically, and when I edit, we're transitioning some state to the form, and then when we update, we're sending the state back to this view over there. Why is this not doing anything? Maybe because I didn't actually update anything. So the bug, okay, and found a little tiny bug here. So so this guy basically has a dirty state. I hope so. Okay, we'll see about that in a moment. ensure that is dirty is used for all the meetup and event forms. Just because I have, when I build this library, use AJV form, it exports a dirty state, so you can't really update something that didn't change. Okay, so give me a second. Give me a moment here. The core project isn't, but there's a bunch of repositories that you can contribute to, yeah. Like the UI library, Yale, like this UI library that I use is my own. I built it myself. So there's a bunch of stuff that you could contribute to, for example, if you wish, but not the core project. But you could contribute to the core library, which then is using all the components in the UI for, right? My pleasure, man. Thank you for asking. Yeah. So that's why we have a meetup here, right? Yeah. So basically, when we successfully update, we push back the meetup. But that's a little bit ironic because we're not updating the meetup, we're updating the event, right? So that's a little bit strange. But I guess I do that for some other reason, I suppose. But logically, I cache only notifications. I'm not going to cache something that's inherently fast. Why would I do that? I'm not going to optimize things which don't need optimization. I'm just trying to memorize why did I do this back. Where do I use this meetup at? Okay, so yeah, so there's one thing that I'm actually going to do here, and I'm going to trade an extra database query for the convenience, right? This convenience is not worth the headache because let me show you what the problem is, right? When you're using HTML history API, right, you are indeed saving yourself few database queries, right? Few API calls. So for example, if I click on this thing now, right, and click edit, you're going to see, wow, everything works, right? But if I copy this URL and paste it here, this is going to explode. It's going to explode because we don't have that state in the history because we went to this URL directly. And you can say, well, cover both. And you're right, we could cover both. But I don't want to cover both because I don't want to have this headache of this so-called HTML history caching, right? So instead of doing this, whenever you come to a specific meetup, I'm just going to call the actual API, right? These API calls are so cheap that it's literally ridiculous not to. It's better to trade convenience for that, right? Because having the same data coming from two places and then maintaining that crap is thanks but no thanks, right? So what I'm going to do actually here, I'm going to say const meetup, and then I'm going to say set meetup, right? And I'm going to have a what is this get events? Oh. Yeah, so I have this thing, right? I'm sorry, I'm just talking to myself in my head. Give me 2 seconds. Why do I wait. Let me just do one thing. Craft, hi there. Thank you for coming. Let me just give me 2 seconds. I just wanna have a discussion. So why do I need a meetup here? So I guess I need a meetup under this view. Wait, so if I go to meetups, this is where we get them all. Then I edit a single meetup, right? Okay, yeah, sure. No, I get it. So we do need it because I don't want to use this. Okay, all good. So I will in fact proceed with my assumption here. I just needed to confirm it with myself in my own head. Meetup is possibly null. Yeah, exactly right. Of course it is. So let's reorganize this a little bit. So let's just comment this one out for a second. And obviously it would be ideal now for the sole sake of let's go to our API. Give me 1 second. I mean, what we could do in theory to simplify this, right? We could so when we go to a single meetup, what we really want is to get the events by that meetup, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more state in here. Later we're gonna move this to read XRTK, right? So let's have. Hi there, man. Thank you for coming. How's life? Is loading event. We're gonna simplify this later on. It's fine. Set is loading event, right? It's okay. So that's okay, right? So it's fine. It's okay. So this is not what I actually want to do. So const get meetup. So we're gonna actually take this handler from here. We're gonna actually go back here, right? I'm actually gonna get rid of this as well. So I'm gonna smack this bad boy here. He's loading. What the hell? Zyra, my friend, you're back. It's going well, man. Just slamming at these things. Very good. What about yourself? What did you do? Get events. Give me 2 seconds. So I'm just gonna comment this one out. That's great. We'll we don't really need this because that's who we are. That. Let's do this. That's okay. Get latest meter. We don't need that. That's all also fine. So we can basically, because one without the other is useless, so pretty much what we're gonna do is, actually no. So here we're gonna say set is loading. We have the event data here, get events, right? Blah, 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 blah. Then we can kind of do this as well. So we'll basically we can use promise all as well if we wish. So maybe we probably should. Absolutely, man. I would love that. I mean, I'm very grateful to you for even wanting to help, man. So of course, I'll sit off stream. Maybe a little bit later once I finish the stream. I need to be a little bit with my wife and kid, but absolutely, man. I would love to do that. I would 100% love that. Let's just call it like this for now. And then we'll simplify this. We'll improve this later when all of it works. When all of it works, we'll make it better. We don't really need this, right? This is going to be params.slug as string, right? And we'll need to do some error handling here and blah, blah, blah. All good. Let's not worry about it too much for now. Let's not worry too much about too many things. Meetup is possibly null, exactly. So we have to make sure that it's not possibly null. So here we have to say, yeah, that kind of sucks ass, but that's what it is. So if is loading, right? We want to do something like this. Let's just do it like that, right? And that kind of also sucks, right? Thank you very much, man. Again, thanks a lot for helping with that. Let's just satisfy TypeScript, right? Even though doing this crap is annoying. Okay, cool. So in theory now, we should be fetching both of them and it should work, right? So if we get back over here, we should be doing... No, sorry. I was overly optimistic over there. So if we go edit this, what happens then? Yeah, so as you can see, yeah, so now we are actually no longer caching, so we're not depending on them, right? We can then even do a extra microcontroller in the API, or just do a left join, right? Or we can just, we can just carry over the meetup with the actual event. We can again, these are such a tiny irrelevant things that who cares? Nobody, right? Okay, so that's great. So that's cool. So we can get rid of this, get meetups and events. Let's kind of remove that. There was an error loading data. Okay, so that's awesome, right? So that's good, right? So we actually now know that if we in fact go directly to this URL, that it should in theory work, right? And it does. Okay, that's awesome, right? That's great. Okay, this handle cancel. How come it's not used anywhere? Handle cancel. Am I handling that like generically in a way? I guess I am. So I guess we can, I assume, remove that, right? So we do this. I click cancel. Yeah, so I'm basically okay. Sure. That's great. Handle update meetup. So I guess that's our handle edit in this case. So we can handle create. That's a little bit weird. You wouldn't create a meetup in here. So how can we organize a meetup? Okay. Okay, I see. Okay. I see. Meetup form. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take this fella. Not very typical for me, but I'm just going to smack it in here. Just so I can have it as a reference. And then this error, how did I implement this component? What does this error do actually? Does it do anything? Toast or something? So if not loading, there's an error, blah, blah, blah. Call to action. Okay, cool. Well, that's what it is, right? Thank you everybody for your follows. Appreciate it. All right, cool. So we need to activate that. And this also has to be contextual as within other views, right? So yeah, actually it is. So technically this should say organize an event, not a meetup, right? Because here it should say organize a meetup, but what? Wow, okay. But over here, so yeah, but if we get to this guy, that context should change, okay. I don't know, it's just for myself to kind of memorize, to do this. Data handle create event. So we don't really do this anything with this. So when we, okay, yeah, exactly, right? So let me see what endpoint is this, meetups events. So let me go to the API just quickly. What is it? Create event, right? Create meetup, okay, yeah. Actually, I think it's better if we just take a look at the response schema here. Do we have a response schema? Schema params response. Yeah, so basically we just, I guess I just returned 201 or something like that. Let's take a look at that. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Actually, I do send it back. So our schema is inaccurate. It's not really accurately representing what this does return. So, but actually we're, yeah, so we do return something. Okay. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter in this context. So I think, so next thing we need to fix is now when we edit this, so here I append some numbers and I update, this list needs to update, right? Okay, so let's do that. So handle create event, so we are actually not reacting to this. Chica, very good, man, very good. Just a chill Sunday. So basically you can see here, so when we navigate back to meetup, we carry over the meetup itself, which is kind of useless, right? I don't need that. What I would really want to carry over is the body. But then give me 1 second, Chica. So yeah, that is kind of the problem, right? So we go here, we carry over some stuff there, which is fine. We end up here, and then we call handle create. When we do that, we navigate back to this view here, carrying this thing, right? So state. So what we could do basically, if you wish, we could come here, and we don't really need this, but what we could say technically is, let's say, event update data is form, is body, right? Maybe, just for fun. Then when we get back to this view and we redirect back, we could use the location technically. So let's say console.location, and let's see if we actually have that data. Holy luck, hey buddy, how you doing? Thank you for coming, man. Right, so if we get back over here now, so I actually go, we push some state back, right? I click update. We should be having that as part of location, right? Interesting. Not really. That's a little bit weird. Maybe I didn't refresh or something. Wait a minute. Let's try that again. Blam 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 blam. GGGGG 111. Update. Meetup. Okay, it's still meetup. So did I not? Ah, this is handle create. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Okay. Well, actually, we don't need this state here for sure. Like this for the create. We need it for the update. So what I'm actually gonna do, just gonna grab this, clean that one up. Sure, right? And then over here we're gonna say that what I have said there, right? So I'm gonna say event update data body, right? And this is basically form here. So let's just call it body as well, just for the sole sake of uniformity, right? Okay, so now we try this back. That was just a dream. Okay, so now here in theory, yeah, so here we have it, event update date, right? Which means that technically Now, when we get back over here, we have location.event update data. What we could do, we could say, hey, well, you know, when this actually happens, we could have another effect that, yeah, so let's try that. Is that super nice? I don't actually know. I need to form some opinion on it, so I cannot state that yet, because I don't know how I feel about it. Because yeah, we are in fact using redirect, I mean sending the and that's okay. Let's leave it cry about it like this. So we're gonna say if, you know, yeah, Copilot is not writing the greatest code right now, but right, otherwise, yeah, right. All right, so edit. That was just a dream 222. Update. And I think that was not the name. I think it's not event. And this should also be .state, right? Exactly. So that's why this guy was complaining as well. So we're gonna do this, right? .state. Beautiful. And then we'll clean that up. Let's just make sure it works. And then we need a state here as well, right? State, right? Yeah. So let's go edit. Yeah, almost. Shoot me all night long. Okay, so almost. Location ID 51. Okay, so that's a little bit weird. I would expect this to actually in fact work, right? So if event ID is state updated data ID, yeah, I would actually, I hate this piece of code here though. So let's do this. So we'll just write it with a little bit more explicitly. If event.id, you know, is this, sure. Return event, right? Okay, let's try it out like this, right? Cool. Alrighty. Wait, did we return here? Yeah, that's so basically that's why. I see. I see. Okay. Location state. Yeah. That's a little bit weird. What? What? So do we proceed over here? Yep. So location is basically undefined, right? Oh yeah, I see. You're absolutely right. We have a typo. Jesus. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's because of the typo, right? Let's try that again. Okay, you know what? Let's just Oh yeah, so here is the typo as well. Wow. Yeah, I see. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. I was going crazy a bit there, man. Thank you for paying attention. Okay, well it still doesn't work, but it doesn't matter. We probably have another one. Wait. Event ID, location state, event update data dot ID, right? Yeah. Event update data. I think we're almost there with this little tiny thing. Try that again. So the title here is definitely different. So of course that linter is there. These are dynamic things, man. You cannot set a linter on the location state. I mean, we could set a type for it, but we're gonna do that when we finish this, right? Event update data, location state, event update data. So let's see, do we actually get here? Let's just see if we actually do get here. Okay, so we don't actually get in there. That's weird. Location, state, event tab. You know what? Let me just do one thing very quickly. Let's call this banana, right? Banana. Great. So let's just try that. Just make sure we don't have some stupid typo somewhere, right? So it's not a typo anymore. We know that. So it's something with the effect, like location state banana. If it's empty, do that. Otherwise, event ID state. So we actually don't get to this point. Event ID is never equal to that. Okay, weird. Okay, let's print this stuff in here. ID is 51. Sure. Yeah, maybe we do, right? But I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem, right? I don't think that's a problem. Okay, let's go back here again. So what do we do? So we let me actually check one thing. Give me a moment. We're gonna solve this later anyway when we kind of globalize this state a little bit, right? It doesn't really matter. I just want to see one thing now. So if I do this, right, and then we actually go back, right? Okay. Let's try that. Let's try the callback, right? Events. Let's try that, right? Let's go back here. Nope, nothing to do with that. Okay. So it's a little bit weird, right? Let's see what the hell is happening here. So we're gonna basically carry the HTML5 history state from here for sure. We know that works, right? So when we get here, we actually get inside of that effect. We have the new title for sure, right? And we just need to make sure that the list is updated, right? So why is this expression not true? That's a little bit weird, right? So let's kind of see about that, right? So let's just make sure that 1 sec, update. So we don't never get in here, right? So let's see why. Why is that? Let's just again print this events.id, right? And banana ID. So why do we never match it? It's so weird. So edit, right? 22222, update. So because banana is missing or whatever. So let's try it just to break on the location state or on the path name. We know that path name for sure is going to be different when we land back here in here, right? So let's try that. Soldier of Fortune. Update. Cool story. That's so weird, man. Like, what? Okay, let's just do it like this. Let's just break on the whole reference, right? This is gonna re-render it for sure. Let's try that again. And let's print the location.state, right? So weird. Okay. Okay, we have the banana, right? For sure. Location.state.banana, right? So weird, man. Let's see what's happened. This is an interesting one. Update. Yeah, so the title is here. The ID is there, yeah. So we never really call this, do we? Wait, let's print the events. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Yeah, we're gonna, of course we can't do that, but try that again. So yeah, because the event, exactly, right? Shit. Yep. I see what's happening. Yep. Because at this point, basically, the events seems to be an empty array, right? Yeah, we can't do that because we're gonna, but yeah, right? So that is indeed the problem, right? Okay, so this is good. So this we know it's good. The events here is empty, right? So let's just say here something like this. If what do you think about this? I think this could potentially work, right? Let's try that. Cool, man. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, cool. We just needed to make sure that the events actually are updated by the time we get here, right? Okay, so that little tiny thing we had is now fixed. Let's just make sure That works, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. It's a little bit weird behavior, right? Because we are kind of, this whole functionality with the dashboard has redirects, right? Of course, if we were rendering this, so for instance, if we were rendering this form conditionally in here, right, this behavior would have never been a problem, right? But now we're carrying the HTML5 history state back and forth, right? So because when I click this and I come here and I update something, right, I'm carrying that state back, right? So of course, this is a matter of a UX. It's not a matter of right or wrong. There's no right or wrong in this context. I could have also said, you know, when I click edit here, don't, you know, instead of this list, render the form in place, right? So that's a UX type of decision rather, right? So that way we wouldn't have this issue because we wouldn't be carrying state using the router, right? We would just be having the state already inside of this view, inside of this component, we would have all the events, right? But the difference here is when you click edit, we're basically sending you to that end, to that route, right? So you can eventually also get to this route directly. And let's actually fix this now. I explicitly went here. So let's see what we're missing, right? Yeah, exactly, right? So you can see now when we get to this form over here, this is now farting out, right? And this is again the problem with that type of convenience, right? Is that now in this thing we are basically expecting the state to always exist, right? And in most cases it will exist, the history state, right? Because most users are gonna, you know, if they ever use this feature, they will be coming to this from the actual dashboard, right? So where is it? Jesus Christ. So you will be coming to your meetup, and then you're gonna be clicking edit, right? What did we do now? Wait, did I change something here? Banana, what? Huh. Oh, yeah, I see what's happening. We forgot one thing, right? Or, right? Exactly, right? And we obviously don't want to call that banana, right? So let's replace that now. There we go. So let's not call this banana, let's call it event updated event, right? Let's call it like that. Now let's go over here and let's call this updated event, right? Let's make sure that still works. Cool. It should work. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. Do we still have banana somewhere? Yeah, we do. Okay, that's why. Okay. Try that again. Updated event. There we go. Okay, cool. But now when we land here, basically here, we always expect the state, right, to be there. So I think we should also not cache this as we are, just because the convenience is not worth the trouble, right? So what we basically have to do in here, we have to, if a user, actually there's one little issue that we still have to fix, right? Or to improve, not fix. You can see here that we're not really covering the state where, so for example, in your dashboard, if you come to a specific slug of your meetup, right, you're gonna get all the events. And that's basically happening here whatsoever. Right now, if I just enter a slug of a meetup that doesn't exist, this is probably gonna fart out, right? So you can see organize a new meetup. So basically here, instead of doing what we're doing, which is this, I think we should navigate somewhere. And if the meetup you're trying to access doesn't exist, I think we should navigate, right? So instead of showing this, right, let's see actually what an error is. If I did this properly in my API, which I believe I did, we should then be able to properly redirect, right? And as you can see, I did. Message meetup not found. So we can react properly to this error, right? Right. So here I can say, you know, so I can also do this technically in my interceptor, in my Axios, right? So if I go here, I could technically already intercept these errors and redirect, just as I'm doing with, actually, yeah, you can see here. So I could, in theory, redirect user already here, but I'm going to handle that in a component, right? So I guess what we can say here, we can say if, yeah, we of course have to safeguard ourselves against all of these properties technically, because we don't know what the error is going to be, right? And unfortunately, TypeScript doesn't have any better, but yeah. Sure, right. So here we can say, well, if this is the case, right, navigate to manage meetup, right, instead. So now if I actually do this, let's see, are we actually even getting into here? Probably not. So let's print the error. So the error is error.reason. So actually, it's not a response in this context. It seems to just be this. Then, so we basically want to send you back to meetups instead. So that should be dashboard/meetups, right? It's like, hey man, you're trying to access, you're trying to edit the meetup that doesn't exist. So I'm just gonna send you back, right? So if I now go to the one that does exist, and I then go to one that doesn't exist, it should redirect me back, right? And we don't want to do an error in this case, right? So we're gonna handle this specific error that we know that might happen, and then here, otherwise, if that's not the error, we'll just say, hey, well, something's wrong, my friend. You can't do that, right? So go back here again. All good. Go to something that doesn't exist. We send you back to meetups, right? Again, what is right or wrong? There's no right or wrong, right? This is a UX type of thing. You can say, well, is it more accurate? Is it better here to set up, to return an actual 404? Maybe, right? Maybe it is, right? So instead of, sending you back, because this, you could argue that this user experience might not be the best, right? Because user is like, why the hell, why am I sent back, right? So you could say this really depends, right? I actually think that we do have an error in here, actually. So instead of doing this, let's be explicit in our intent, right? So let's not do this magic, right? So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna actually set an error state in here. So let's say const error and set error. And no, not really, right? It doesn't really matter, yeah. Yeah, the thing is, right, like I think users would prefer, right? The biggest problem, so functionally this is maybe useful. You could say if we do this, right? You could say, well, you're saving a user some clicks. I mean, the meetup, doesn't exist anyway, so who cares, right? Whatsoever, it's a little bit too magical, right? Like user might not know that. It's like, well, I actually do think that it exists, right? So instead of this, right, we can just say here set error, right? And actually, because we are controlling this error ourselves, let's just say it's either a string or whatever, right? Because we're only gonna set the error in this context, otherwise we're gonna do this. Or maybe we can just, actually, you know what, we can. So let's actually do this. Let's say meetup not found, for example, right? And let's actually see what does this, because I know when I implemented this generic list, it takes some error. Let's see what type of error it takes. What is the error that it expects? Is the string? It's an any error. So let's see, where do I render this? If there's no error, there's no error. If there is an error, we're showing this crap here, right? Okay. Okay, so we need to improve this a little bit, right? So this is a generic thing, and that's fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna be a little bit more specific here, right? So we need to have obviously errors which are useful, right? So what we're actually gonna do here, I'm actually gonna say that the error is always gonna be a record of string, right? Or of string object or string any, right? Of string, actually, right? So if we go to set error now, what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna kind of set the error in such a way where it fits my error kind of call to action component, so they kind of fit together properly, right? It's kind of systematic way, right? You are building your own system, so you have to make sure that the things fit your own system. This fits my system, right? Here I can say, hey, well, a meetup that you are looking for is not found. Yeah, and then let's just say here something like, the meetup you're looking for is not found. It might have been deleted or moved. Yeah, exactly. And then here we can say, go back to meetups, right? Or whatever. We'll see that in a moment, right? If we actually go back here, and then we have on click handler, right? we can just go as crazy as that and literally say on click, do this, right? Of course, now we have to basically, unfortunately, use something like this, right? It's fun, right? Why not? So if this happens, right, do this. Otherwise, right, we can pretty much do the same here, right? But we can be a little bit more generic, right? So we can say set error, and I'm sure that Copilot is going to help me a little bit with this. Let's let it do it, right? So this is going to be, and we probably want to still go back to meetups, like if this error again, right? Something like that, right? Okay, cool. So now we have that error, and we have the error that we're gonna... Is metadata for errors usually formatted in a tuple from across? There's no standard, really. Error handling is an art, right? And you have to systematically integrate it as part of your product, right? I have few videos, I believe, on YouTube about that, but error handling is really a matter of you perfectly fitting it in to fit your own, basically, yeah. So here now you can see we basically have an error that we could, in theory, type properly here now, right? Now, the biggest problem of this now is that, yeah. So what I'm actually going to do here for this guy, I'm actually going to, yeah, grab this. Then we're going to go to this dashboard layout thing, right? Do we have a type for that? Yeah, we have an error, which is any, right? So let's make the error to fit the shape of our call to action, right? So here I'm going to say, hey, title string. Hopefully it's going to kind of figure out what it is that I want, right? Exactly, right? Then we're going to make this, actually, I think I have a call to action type exported from my core library that I built. So could I, in theory, say here CTA types? Oh, yes, beautiful. Yeah, well, it's not really beautiful. Shit, that kind of sucks. It would be nice if I had that little fragment. I mean, I could, in theory, say partial here, couldn't I? Can I say error is a partial this? Could we do that? Is it gonna like that, though? Yeah, right? And then over here, for the error, I could also say the same, right? I could say or null, right? Yeah, I mean, I could try that, right? So let's say, yeah, for sure. Let's try that. So instead of record here, we're gonna try the same, right? We're gonna try CTA that have CTA types right now. What is CTA types from my core library, right? CTA props, but that has to be, it's kind of not super pretty because this component has nothing to do with the errors. Yeah, right? Yeah. And then we would basically need to go here and we would have to do the same, right? So we're just missing a null here. So for the error, we would also say, hey, it's either that, man, or it's null, right? That I like, potentially. And we could use pick as well. That's a good idea. Maybe we should do that. Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Let me just make sure this works. So what we could do now in theory here is we can be a little bit smart. We can say error dot title, right? Or sheet, right? Yeah, that I like. That I like. And then error dot subtitle, you know, or that, right? I mean, we could do this better, right? With the defaults and stuff, right? Error dot button text. Or, and then on click handler here, we're gonna do the same basically, right? So error dot on click on click, right? Yeah, exactly, right? Something like that. Let's bear with me. Let's not aim for absolute perfection. Okay, so if we go and edit this thing, right? And we go and try to produce this error, there we go. Beautiful. Works. Amazing. Okay, so we still support the generic one if something else farts out that we haven't obviously covered, right? Just ordered my first mechanical keyboard. Congrats, man. I have so many. My wife almost killed me. I've spent hundreds of euros on keyboards, on mechanical keyboards. I'm absolutely a better programmer by 6.12%. It's clear that everybody knows that if you buy a mechanical keyboard, your programming skills are instantly better. I mean, everybody knows that, right? Everybody. I mean, especially keyboard manufacturers, they know that the best, right? You type faster. I mean, if the programming was about typing speed, right, then I'm sure that we would have a lot more better programmers out there, right? Crap. Could we shit? I mean, I suppose, right? If we where did I do this logic that we just wrote, right? Yeah, over here, right? So we could, in theory, right, do this. Oh man, Dio is what a song, dude. Jesus Christ, I just realized. What a song, man. Wow. There was an error fetching your meetup. Please try again later. Report this issue. Persist. I don't dislike this at all. I think I don't dislike this at all. That's awesome. Okay, so that I like. That's great. It works exactly the way that I imagined it. So that's perfect. Okay, so the only thing that I know that's going to happen, right, is because we obviously have heavily changed the interface of this thing. We really need to. It's fairly. You know what? Actually, so yeah. Okay. That's what we're gonna do. So what we're actually gonna do, right? We're gonna create some sort of an error creator or whatever. Actually, are we? No, we will not. Sorry, ignore me. We're not actually gonna do that. It's okay to have. Yeah, it's. Yeah, just having an internal conversation with myself. I just need to maybe change. What? Ah, okay. And pretty much, right? Just replace this. There was an error fetching your courses, right? Not rocket science. Please try again later. Somebody knows Steve I. Amazing, man. I'm happy for that. I love that, dude. That's amazing. Great. Instantly. No, there's just, I think, one more or whatever left. So, all good, all good. No, that's fine. That is the dynamic process of writing code, right? You never finish writing your code. That's great. I think we're good now. And I think now pretty much, give me 1 second. So it's just basically another problem is that the path to this is wrong. So we need to fix the path, right? Yeah, exactly. So let's kind of do that as well. So there was dashboard meetup or whatever. I don't actually remember. Then there's a navigate somewhere that's wrong. Handle edit, create. We're going to have to get rid of this crap. And I think this is the problem, right? So basically we need to say here meetups, I suppose. I think that should be the correct. And then we have the meetup itself. So wait a minute, I get here, I click on an event. So basically events. So events, right? Yeah, so that in theory should be the correct path, right? So if I go back to meetups, if I go back to my dashboard, I go to meetups and I click it. Yes, now it works. Beautiful. Cool. Okay. Let's push this to production. Yeah, so let's not worry about a few things not necessarily being awesome. It's okay. It's an incremental process of improvement, so things are never perfect. Always review your own code. There's no more disrespect you can show to your colleagues than letting them find your crap just because you're lazy. Even though I have no colleague, this is my own project, but yeah, make sure that you're not lazy. All right, so we kind of de-radicalized that red color there. It was like the whole world is falling apart when you see that error. That's how red it was. It's like you see an error and you think it's an Armageddon. Hug your family, kiss your wife and kid goodbye. That type of error. That's how red it was. It's crazy. Okay, let's push this to production. That's the benefit of working alone. You can push whatever you want. Nobody can judge you. You're always the best and the worst programmer at the same time. How great is that? All right, cool. So did we have any people sign up on Program Network today? Yeah, we have few. Not too many, but it's fine. Well, let's just smack this thing there. Once again, okay, great. So, okay, so we fixed, wait, let me drink some water. 1 second. Ooh, shit. Did we, my front end is probably not running yet. Give me a second. All right, so these details like dates and stuff, I don't actually care much about it, but we couldn't practically. I think I have some utils. I think I have a date utils thing here, a class that's to local data. Yeah, we could technically do this, right? So if we go to like meetup event something. No. Nah, where is this crap? I think it's this one, right? Nah, it's not. Okay. Nope. Yeah, it's this one here, right? Interesting. Okay. I mean, this is not terrible for sure. I can tell you that much. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, exactly, right? So okay, so let's keep this file opened, and this would be why is it so hard to find? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, here it is. This bad boy here, right? So we're gonna do something like this, I suppose. We can import my utils, right? My date utils. Then this is not really an this is an item, just calling it slightly generic there. And then we can just get rid of these guys right here. And then the date should be kind of more user friendly, right? Yeah, even though it's questionable now how this should look like. How did I write this? Okay. Get friendly local name. ISO dates. I mean, yeah, we could try using that as well if we want to, but I think this is okay for now. Cool. Okay, give me 1 second. So let's go here. Thank everybody for your follows. Appreciate it. So we go here. Let's smack this bad boy over here and update. It's too much. Okay, we need to kind of go through these arbitrary numbers because they're very frustrating for users. Like, why 125, right? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so that's good. Okay, give me a second. Let's play something. Oh shit, Ozzy Osbourne. Can never go wrong with Ozzy. Let's play Crazy Train. All right, so let me just push this very quickly as well. Let's sync these changes. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, what is this? Cool. Okay. So we fixed a lot of these things today, right? We obviously have a lot more UI stuff to do. Backend is done for the most part. We'll need to. So actually, one of the next things that I never finished, and that's going to be actually very fun, is one of the microservices that I never finished. Right? If I actually go back to, if I go to my infrastructure project, wait a minute, where was that? Programming network infra, right? Documentation, yeah. So actually, I'm actually looking forward to one of the next streams. I actually don't know when is that going to be, because I never know when I stream. But whenever that is, I'm actually looking forward to that. So what we actually started doing long ago is this task runner, the scheduler, right? Didn't I have a repo? Didn't I do that? This is our infrastructure, right, on Hetzner. And this guy is something I never finished. Where's that guy? How did I even call that? Kubernetes, learn music, Yale, use HAV form, infrastructure, task runner, this guy, right? Yeah. So this guy I'm actually looking forward to get to. It's basically this, it's using the, what was it? It's a scheduler based on BullMQ, right? It's almost like a RabbitMQ in a way, but not really. RabbitMQ is a different thing. So yeah, so this is what I'm looking forward for us to get back to, because we need to start sending some emails to users to remind them to come back. We need to do a lot of these things, and especially for meetups, if these meetups ever become something people use, we need to make sure that we remind people that, hey, event is coming up that you signed up with, or blah blah, right? So this I'm actually looking forward to get back to. This is the piece of infrastructure we're missing right now. Where was this thing? Where did I get in that process? I mean, this was so long ago. Where's the programmer network? RSS parser, man. We have so many things we built. Internal tools, architecture. Yeah, we basically need it for something like that. I just need to schedule. I mean, just a scheduler, basically, in a way, right? But how did I call the repo? Task runner. Ah, I see. So where is it? Task runner. Because I almost at 1.1 was this, like, it was long ago when I did this in a stream, right? And I'm now 7 months. Oh my god, man. Okay. So as you can see, I did kind of integrate it with SendGrid and stuff like that, right? So I did do a lot of stuff back then. A lot of stuff. Okay, let me pull that back. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Not a lot of stuff, but I did sufficient amount where we can start sending emails and stuff like that. So shit, man. Dude, this is gonna be so fun to learn something new. Because of course, you know, I just picked some. I mean, we don't need. We could have also went with Go, right? Picked some Go task. That's obviously, let's say, some sort of a performance-wise, if we cared about that at this point, would be great. But yeah, so we have a scheduler class that I wrote that calls the schedule. Then we have these workers, right, and jobs. I don't actually remember how I would literally have to read this code as if somebody else wrote it. And then I did the test here for scheduling. Because, for example, right, so the thing is, like, the first job that I was creating looked like this, right? I remember back then we had users who would sign up, right? So, you know, user signs up, but they would never confirm their email, right? Or whatever. So this basically job here was meant to kind of remind them after 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and then stop reminding them, right? To confirm their email, because you want you want to onboard people, right? You want people to sign up on the thing that you're building. And then we stopped, you know, nature of my streams, for those of you who've been here for a long time, you know how I stream, then I don't stream for a month sometimes, right? Because of work and family and stuff. But yeah, man, that's great shit. Let's put this, let's go to our backlog here on GitHub projects. Let's smack this thing on top of that list, because that's actually fun to do. Stream goal, what is this? Clean up course view. Let's just say that for now we're done with that, but I'm sure that we're not done with that. Let's say done. And let's just say here, continue with the task runner. That's how I called it, right? So let's smack this guy actually here. We need to fix this probably before that. And let me link my own repository. So this is it, Programmer Network Task Runner, right? That's going to be super cool. I'm probably going to do some work off stream just to remind myself of what the hell did I do back then. Because I literally, and I can see that these guys have changed their website completely since I've been there. Wait a minute. Bull MQ, just making sure that I'm looking at the right thing. Bull MQ, Q for messages and jobs based on Redis. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, good, because last time I was there, the website was vastly different. Okay, that's great. Actually, I just need to do one thing. Who supports this project? I just need to make sure that it's something reliable to make my infrastructure depend on. So do they have sponsors and stuff? Okay, wow. Microsoft, Novu. Oh man, we also have to get back to Novu. Actually, no, sorry, forget that. We don't need better notifications than now. Nest, is this Nest.js? Yeah, it is. Data wrapper. Okay, so great. Okay, good. Did I start this? Yeah, I did. Alrighty, cool. Is there any questions just before we continue coding? Is there any questions that anybody has that I can answer, or some of the things that you want to discuss? Please, I'm here, very happy to respond if you have anything to ask. And give me 1 second. All right, I guess no. If yes, if you change your mind, let me know. Okay. So this, I'm not gonna spend time on this now. Can we go off topic? Of course, we can go any topic you want. Of course, please. Of course, we can go anywhere. Definitely. What is this crap here? Interesting. Maybe that's something. Yeah, but anyway, man, looking forward to finalize that and just make it part of my infrastructure here. Okay, let's close that. So until the question comes in, let me just get, okay, I see what happened here. I see, all right. So we kind of push that a little bit. Share, organizer, cool. So this I will need to redesign myself. Not gonna do that now. Where is our backlog? Over here. Let's just get over here and say rethink the meetup view design UX UI whatever. Just smack it here so I don't forget. The other guy, the second guy, I guess, is the Vim guy, right? I think that guy is. I mean, I would have probably some beer with that guy. The second guy that you mentioned. I would definitely talk about code with Linus, right? Because the other guy just talks crap for the most part, code-wise. But if I would to have fun with somebody, that guy is like on crack, so I would probably hang out with him. The second guy. The second guy is like he's on drugs all the time. The first guy is like, you know, a guy I would like to talk about code for sure. All right, let's chat a little bit. Let's. This is always fun for people. They always learn something interesting. Oops. So let's see. What's your favorite computer game? It's hard to say. I played Diablo 1 and 2 and World of Warcraft and a lot of these Blizzard games many years ago. Right now, I don't play games. I have a kid and a wife and a full-time job, and I stream when I can, so there's unfortunately no time to play games. I have a hard time in my job convincing management we need proper testing and keep failing at... wow. Wait, this is a good... Okay, wait, let me record this clip for YouTube. So, let me just read it out loud. I have a hard time in my job convincing management we need proper testing and keep failing at it, and I'm in a consulting company for context. I wonder if you ever face such a situation. Okay, so first, man, that's a great thing to discuss. First, why do you want to convince your management of that, right? So first, you need to kind of decipher the reasons behind why do you want to convince them of that, right? And second, I understand why your management doesn't want that, because your management thinks that it's going to take more time, right? But now the question also is, why do you need to ask your management if you can write tests, right? Your management, keep in mind that when you talk to your CTO, CEO, your stakeholders, they actually don't care about these details, right? I don't think that they care about details if you're going to do X or Y. They just care, they want to make sure that things don't take too long, right? I don't think that you should be asking your management, can you write tests? That's like, you know, you should never do that, because the answer for these types of things is always going to be no, because they don't know and they always assume the worst, right? So instead of asking somebody, can I write tests, just write the tests. Sit one day, even off work in your evening hours, work for free for one day in a year and write these tests, set up a testing suite and just do it, right? You don't need to ask somebody to write tests or to do anything you want, right? And then set up an example. And then when they see that this works, they might change their mind, right? The thing is, like again, you have to always put yourself in the shoe of these people that you're asking these questions. Maybe that's exactly what they want. Maybe they want you to spend 3-4 times more time in case you're getting paid for it. So if you're getting paid for this extra time, maybe because that's why everybody hates consulting. I would, to be honest, never hire a consultant for my team. That's tragic usually, because consultants generally work very differently. They don't get attached to the product, right? But maybe, I'm saying maybe there's a reason why your management says, you know, no to that. Maybe they do want things to break again if you're getting paid extra money for that, right? If that's the case, then it makes sense, right? They want things to take longer because you're getting paid more. But again, like no matter what the context is, you should never talk about testing and code to management, right? Because your management fundamentally doesn't care. They don't actually care about these details of things. They just care about numbers, right? So when you go to them and you mention tests, right, they cannot conceptualize that well enough, right? Because you assume it's going to take. So what I've learned in my career is just do it, right? Be proactive and do it, set it up, be an example. And this actually applies to every single other thing in programming. You know, when people come to you at work and they're like, oh, why are we not using X? Why are we not using Y? You have to sell these ideas, not vice versa. I spoke about this many times. You get what I mean? Because if you go to a team and talk about something, that's never gonna materialize, right? you will never materialize the idea by talking about it only, because most people don't care, developers or whatever, right? But you get what I mean. The thing is, like, if you ever want to push any idea to anybody, you have to show that it works. And that is very difficult. That's why most people are reactive. They're not proactive, because it's so easy to talk about things. You know, my manager maybe 10 years ago have taught me this so well. I would go to my manager and I say, why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing this? And at one point in time, he just started saying, do it, man. Sit and do it, right? And I realized at that point how much bullshit I was saying, right? Because you know, I was just putting out words without any action, without actually putting my money where my mouth is, as I always say, right? So if you want to affect change, you have to be the change, not the theoretical change. You actually have to sit and do it and say, look, I just wrote these tests. I set this up, set whatever your language you're writing. I managed to set up end-to-end tests, unit tests, whatever tests you want to write, and do an example. Set up a pad for your colleagues at work and say, look, guys, you know, today with ChatGPT, it took me 23 seconds to generate 20 tests. Look how amazing this is. And they will probably also say, wow, man, that is in fact actually amazing. I didn't know you can do this that easily. So you have to get yourself to that point. And I'm sure if you sit now, you know, literally stop watching my stream now, you can do that in an hour, and then you can showcase to them, to not to the management, but to your other developers, like, man, because I've shown this in this stream countless times, how you can literally now take a React component or a function or a class or whatever, right? And you can generate the tests in 20 seconds for free, right? Then you're at the wrong place. You're 100% right. I respect you for that. I respect your ethical principles, but that's the problem with many consultants, man. People who work in that industry, they sell their soul, right? And they don't care. And of course, I'm not saying that I would be different, because it's so unnatural for human beings to do so many things not to get attached to. For example, where I work as a tech lead today, I love the product, right? I love it. I know it inside out. I'm an expert at that domain. I became an expert because I worked there at the same place for 3 years, right? I could not imagine myself having to work on a project just like changing socks month by month. You're just like, just do this crap, make sure it works, right? And that's what consultancy is. You can't allow yourself to get attached. And you seem like a person who cares, so you should not be working in consultancy. You should find a proper startup job or some stable job where you're actually building a product where your manager or your colleagues are going to say, of course we're writing tests. Of course we care, right? Of course your management doesn't care, man. Because once you're done with that life cycle of building that tool, it's no longer your concern. So if that shit breaks, it's not your concern. It's someone else's problem, right? But the point being here is, you have to kind of get into the mentality of why your, why your management doesn't want you to write tests. There's a reason for that, probably, right? And if you want to do it for yourself, feel free to do it. I'm sure you can, right? All right, let's take another question. I'm studying MongoDB and Node, and I'm really enjoying it. However, I've noticed that many hosting services for these technologies are quite expensive. This has made me consider learning about containers and cloud solutions instead of options for platforms like Vercel. Of course, I mean, I host programmer network infrastructure. It's all hosted on Hetzner. There's probably 20 to 25 Docker images running. So when you go to programmer network, it's a huge infrastructure of things, and it's almost free, right? So of course, if you learn some infrastructure, some DevOps, if you learn some basic Docker, how to do a Docker network, if you learn a little bit about Nginx and about protocols, you can host your things relatively cheap. Now, of course, as I spoke many times, right, cloud providers and bare metal, meaning hosting stuff yourself, these two worlds are very different, and there's no better or worse, right? Cloud providers cost more, but they relieve you of work and hours spent, which means you have to calculate, because you cannot say, hey, hosting MongoDB on MongoDB Atlas is, I don't know, 10 times more expensive than if I host it myself. You cannot make such comparison, because you have to then say, but how much time hosting it myself it takes to ensure that it's running, that it's safe, that it's secure, and stuff like that. So you have to you have to figure out what it is that you're willing to spend more money or time, and then figure out how much of my time, how much hour of my time is worth relative to the price of the cloud, right? People underestimate this because nothing is more expensive than paying people. If you want a good DevOps engineer, good system level admin, these guys make pretty high salaries, right? So, but for sure you should learn infrastructure. Every developer who wants to do any backend has to know at minimum basics about how can I host my own servers, what does it take, what layers of security do I have to cover, networking layer, firewalls and stuff like that. So you should definitely learn this, yes. Keep in mind that MongoDB generally is a database that's pretty expensive to host. So I would always advise people to learn Postgres or MySQL. Fundamentally, for 95% of problems, these databases are better, they're easier to scale, they're cheaper to host. The reason why you're learning MongoDB is not your conscious decision, it's the decision of these MERN stacks and all of the community, because MongoDB fundamentally is a very simple thing. It's a JSON storage type of database, right? With collections and no schema, no constraints, no tables, right? So, but if you want to invest your time properly and learn a database that's actually more useful, you should learn Postgres and not MongoDB. Yeah. I mean, I'm working for startups for almost 17 years. So the most projects that I'm proud about are the real products and startups that I built along these years, right? That's what I'm most proud of, which is the experience, right? Building the actual products. I'm not really proud of my side projects because Programming Network is probably the furthest one that I got from 150 repositories that I have on my GitHub. But I'm proud of building real products for real customers. That's what motivates me, right? I don't have favorite browser. I don't care. I don't have favorite operating system, favorite IDE, favorite browser. These are arbitrary things. I don't care. As long as it can render a website or open up something, I don't care. I don't create feelings about technology like that. I don't have anything favorite. I use whatever works. I use Chrome. I used Firefox as well. I used Internet Explorer like 25 years ago. So I don't allow myself to create too many feelings about technology. It's ridiculous, right? At the end of the day, what the hell is this? It's ridiculous, right? At the end of the day. Give me 1 second. Edge is based on Chromium, right? Isn't it? So technically, Edge is Chrome, right? Just with Microsoft malware in it, right? so that's it, right? But who cares, man? Operating system, browser, whatever. These are the things that fundamentally have to work, right? So it's, at the end of the day, it's all about things that you build, is the problems you solve, is the experience you get building real things that solve real problems for real people. Everything else is sweaty developers and wasting time or pretty young. When I look at demographics of my viewers, most of you are pretty young, from 18 to 20 or something like that, right? So no real professional gives a shit about which text editor you're using or the browser or the operating system. It's all about actually what value you bring to the table when you're working at the place, how effective you are. So these are the metrics that people care about. Do you use some shitty green terminal and write with a split keyboard? Nobody on this planet cares 1%, right? It's just when you're very young, you're prone to this type of influence. As you get more career and more experience, you don't give a crap, right? If you use Notepad or whatever, right? A Programming Network, you can go and sign up and check it out yourself. As they say, one picture, 1,000 words, right? I'm using Hetzner. You actually have a referral link in my Twitch stream. I can send you. I can send you a referral link if you want. There, I think there's seven people already who used my referral link, so that's actually pretty awesome. If you want to basically pay anyway, and you want Programming Network to get, I don't know how much, like 10 euros, you can use that link. I can actually show you the infrastructure of programmer network if you care. I can do that fairly quickly if you want. Where is it? I can show you this very quickly. Give me 1 second. So I can show you the infrastructure of programmer network if you wish to know. It's pretty awesome, actually. It's pretty cool. So programmer network basically runs all in Docker. This is the infrastructure I'm using. I'm hosting my front end, my simple plain React application that you see when you go there on Cloudflare pages for free. Why? Because Cloudflare is one of the best and most amazing services ever made. You have DDoS protection. You have so many services. You have VAF. You have virtual firewall. You have service workers, web workers, serverless. So many things that I use. So this is the only thing that I'm not self-hosting myself. So this is basically on Cloudflare pages. Here, I'm using Cloudflare images for hosting images. Basically, think of it as a S3 bucket, just with extra functionality for images. It's very cheap. And then everything else is on Hetzner, on a VPS, basically. Where is it? So I'm using Hetzner Firewall just to allow traffic from Cloudflare IP ranges. I have my Prometheus and Grafana stack for all of the stuff when it comes to performance of my servers, logging. I'm using Loki and Grafana and a lot of these things. Actually, if we go to my to Grafana here, right? So this is our so this is basically programmer networks infrastructures. You can see we have API logs. So whenever you guys get an error, I come here and I say, oh, somebody failed to do something. Then we have the API logs. I have reporting. So I've made my own little version of centric.js. Whenever there's an error, I get a Slack message by using Alert Manager. It's basically a Docker image. So I'm using Alert Manager with Grafana and Prometheus. This is my server. As you can see, it's heavily underutilized right now. CPU is at 7%, memory at 8%. We have Postgres database here, just metrics on how they perform. We have Node.js application metrics, like latency on my Node.js, my Fastify API, and a bunch of other things. Yeah, as I said, I have an alert manager. So if I go, for example, to alerting here, and we go to alert rules, right? We can actually get back to alert rules here. So we can edit this alert rule, as you can see. And you can write here Grafana query language, right? So that basically sums up the internal services from myself. Then I have internal Nginx for mostly used by Certbot to renew all of my SSL certificates every 90 days. Then I have Fastify API. I'm using Redis. Right now, Redis is only used for my notification system. And then Postgres is a database. And yeah, this is stuff that I spoke about a couple of minutes ago. We need to finalize this task scheduler or task runner. So we're going to eventually have this task runner deployed here that's going to basically just interface with my Fastify API. I'm using Sequelize.js as the ORM on top of Postgres. Yeah. If you ask why, it's just because more than a decade ago I used Sequelize, and when I started this project, I didn't know that anything else even exists. So I'm using this just because it's been out there for such a long time. So there's a lot of stuff. Of course, as I said many times in my streams, this is gradually implemented. This is not, I haven't sat in 2 hours and done all of this. You should do your infrastructure by need. So as your requirements increase. So for example, when I implemented my monitoring stack, I did that when you viewers started using programmer networks, few of you, and oh, hey, Alex, I had an error, right? So a lot of these things have been implemented. Of course, you usually want to start with a client, with a front end, whatever, an API. This is where you kind of start with these two, right? And then you gradually add all of these things. You add security. Maybe half a year ago, I had one viewer. He was a security expert, so he was trying to hack the platform and stuff like that. So it was super awesome. So he helped me find a lot of security things. So then I added security, right? So yeah, you remember the guy in Numinix. So you kind of, it was a beautiful process, right? Yeah, for sure. And this is, I mean, pretty cheap. I mean, I can pay it even cheaper. I think I pay 20 euros, and as you can see, a month, as you can see, it's heavily underutilized. So even if I paid, let's say, 5 to 7 euros, it would still be amazing, right? So you can see I have 16 gigs of RAM and 4 CPU cores, right? 20 euros a month, right? You get a lot of awesome things here. You get a firewall if you needed a floating IP, dynamic IP, a load balancer. So for example, if this project was used by anybody and I needed to scale, right, I would create a load balancer, create more servers, right? So you can do a lot of things. Again, don't take these explanations as a good or bad. Don't take this advice in an indirect way to say, oh, GCP, AWS, Azure is bad. Absolutely not. Again, you have to decipher based on your, like if I had a company myself and if I had a running business, I would of course go with the cloud. Why? Because this stuff requires a lot of knowledge, a lot of time, maintenance, right? So this is basic. And as you can see, a few of you basically here have already used my referral link. So you can see there's 50 euros pending, 20 euros was paid to me already. So a few of you actually are starting to use Hetzner. So that's awesome. Yeah. So that's basically it, right? You can of course host things cheap under quotes because renting a server has never been cheaper in history of the world, right? But of course, what does the cheap mean? This is what you have to decipher for yourself. Are you capable to build your infrastructure on your own? Are you capable to do infrastructure as code? Are you able to document this process as you go? So 3 days later, you know what you did. So you have to be able to answer these questions for yourself, right? And of course, if you're building a side project, a Hello World app, you can host that on a calculator. I have a Raspberry Pi cluster here of 4 Raspberry Pis, 4B, running as well. I could easily host Programmer Network here on this rack. This is a 4-unit server right here where my finger is. And this is the MikroTik router, one of them. And then inside of there's another router, professional grade router. So I could also host everything. Here I have a Ethernet internet here. So I could easily switch this whole infrastructure and host it from my Raspberry Pi as well, right? So technically there's really no right. So it's just a matter of how much are you willing to actually do, right? How much time are you willing to spend maintaining all of that, right? So you have to be able to answer these questions for yourself and why you're doing things. If you have a running business, you probably want to go with the cloud. If you want to learn or you don't have much money, you can go with the bare metal, as I do, self-hosting and stuff like that, right? You could literally, for these projects that you guys are discussing, you can host it on a calculator and it still would be an overkill, right? Because to do a side project that has scaling issues, that's 1 out of a billion, right? So try to get one user to use your little Hello World app, let alone, right? So you can host, basically, you can get a Raspberry Pi in your home, set up some demilitarized zone, or just expose that port, just expose it through your router, whatever. You can host pretty much, especially getting the Raspberry Pi 5, the latest one. I mean, you can host the whole server for free on your computer, like on the Raspberry Pi, right? So you don't really need to pay. If I had the time from work and family and stuff, I would just move all of this stuff to I have a Kubernetes cluster here on this Raspberry Pi. So actually, I mean, it already is set up. I just never exposed it. I'm using on my cluster, I'm using K3s. So this is running here on my server at home. It's basically a lightweight Kubernetes that works on AMD, basically, architecture, right? So you could set up K3s, cluster your Raspberry Pi. You get 3 or 4 used Raspberry Pis. If you wanted to learn Kubernetes, you could kind of do that. Set up a few Raspberry Pis. Each one of them is a worker, right? One of them would be a master node, right? So you could have a lot of fun in so many ways, right? It's just a matter of what it is that you actually want to do, right? Yeah. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to discuss? Well, that static or dynamic IP, that depends on your internet at home, right? You can always get a dynamic, you can always get a, I mean, that's not a problem. There are many services out there where you can solve that, right? You can use some edge services that Cloudflare provides, right? So you could solve that with Cloudflare, right? You would just have to have a client running on your machine that basically opens up something somewhere, right? So you could use Cloudflare for that, right? Of course, that would maybe increase the latency a little bit. But that latency would be insignificant, right? So no matter, even if you have a static IP, you could use, you could create a virtual private network, whatever, somewhere, right? And then go from there. Cloudflare has these services, so you can solve these problems with Cloudflare for free. So that's not a problem, right? And maybe it's even better, right? Like setting up a VPS, some sort of VPN with Cloudflare or whatever could be even better. Give me 1 second. Let me just try to find it for you. Yeah, I'll actually try to find it for you. Yeah. Any other interesting remarks? Jesus, I have so many things open. Yep. Any other questions? Especially, I mean, we don't have to talk about these complicated things. If there's anyone else, any beginners or whatever, you need some advice on something, whatever, just ask. I'm very happy to give you a hand before I leave. I use nodejs. Use nodejs with Fastify. I think this is a stack. Let's see if there's more interesting people with interesting questions. They're the most fundamental for building a proper backend and the product, yes. And I think these data modeling skills are important in a sense from an engineering perspective, not being an expert in databases and data warehouses, right? The thing is, like, you as an engineer have to focus on designing, because as I said many times, if you mess up your, let's say, if you model your tables, if we talk about relational databases, right? If you mess up that part, you're messing up fundamentally the whole chain of things. Then the guy who has to write an API has to write shitty queries. UI has a hard time getting the right data because the API now has to do 15 different calls, right? So having a good data model, efficient data modeling, right? It cascades so either well or so bad, right? So if you do that well, it cascades in an amazing way. Then building an API is just a simple CRUD API, doing a left join here and there, whatever. But if you model it in an inefficient way because you just rush to start programming instead of thinking, then for sure, right, it can be painful. But of course, today it's not the end of the world. It's not impossible to migrate that, to improve it, right? It just depends how long you allow it to go for. The longer you build on top of this inefficient model, then of course harder it gets to. What's your opinion on computer science degree? I mean, education is always good, right? What can one say about that? Nobody can neglect it. I have a video on YouTube about that. But going to computer science school is not just about going to university, right? It is not just about learning the hard skills. Going to university is fundamental because a lot of people learn how to behave. They meet other people. They get inspired. They make friends. They make companies. They learn how to learn. They get better at organizing, right? So universities don't exist today anymore, at least, just to teach you knowledge. That was true 30 years ago or 40 when internet didn't exist. So you either had a choice to go to school or to a library, right? So today it's still important that school can be important for you, but not from the knowledge perspective. If you just want the raw knowledge, if you want to build websites, You don't need to go to school, but if you want to build some social skills, if you want to learn how to work with others, if you are maybe introvert and you want to work on yourself, because again, as you grow as a professional, your social skills are the most core skills you want to build. Like I'm a tech lead and a team lead, and I lead a team now, and I've been doing that several years now, right? And for me, it's far more important to understand the stakeholders, to be able to communicate, to be able to push back or agree or disagree, than learning how to use 16 state management libraries, right? So as you progress more and more in your seniority in your career, your social skills are far more important, which means that school can also help you with that. It can give you structure. It can, for these 4 or 5 years, you're kind of in the same classroom with other people, right? So yeah. So in simple words, for some people, it's still good that they go to school, especially if they're not structured, if they need pressure from others, right? If you're unable to sit home and study yourself for a reasonable amount of time, then you probably should go to university, because somebody is going to give you that structure. You're going to be paying maybe a lot of money, and that's going to force you, at least for that reason, to study, right? No, I'm not going to record this for YouTube. No, definitely not. Thank you, man. Luckily, that's important. But it's again, nothing is. Very few things in life are just binary, yes or no. You have a lot of these radical opinions. You have to try to build your critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, and think about these things in a far greater spectrum than just yes or no. So the schools and all other things in life, they don't just exist as a single function thing, right? Going to, I have a child who goes to kindergarten. He's not going to kindergarten just because somebody is taking care of him. He's in kindergarten because he needs to also learn from a very early age to live with other people, right? I mean, we are social beings. We're not living in parallel universes, right? So there's nothing more important for anybody's really career, especially with the AI. I mean, in 10 to 20 years, a lot of this programming we do today is not going to exist in this shape or form. You're going to have one developer controlling 5 generative AIs, right? With a LangChain and tools like this. You're going to sit with, you're going to have a computer with X amount of agents just performing tasks, and you're going to be fine-tuning them. Oh, this one made a mistake, right? But your social skills are always going to have a high value, right? Return on investment, right? So these sweaty developers, these nerds with green terminals and stuff, they're evaporating very fast, and they are no longer relevant. In 5 or to 10 years, nobody's going to give a shit about this type of person anymore, right? This guy who thinks that he can code in binary, right? That's meaningless. It's going to have zero value. I mean, it still already has zero value, right? So I can say focus on these core skills, because at the end of the day, you have to work with people, not with robots, right? And if you ever get to the point of you needing to work with robots, then we probably not going to have jobs at all. So that's just how it is. If I have to hire a person for my team, I'm always going to hire a person that's kinder than a person who's better. That's almost always, right? Because I can teach this guy to program, I cannot teach that asshole to be a normal human being, right? So that's just how it is. All right, I can see the silence is taking over. I'm not sure if there's more people who want to chat. If not, how long have I been streaming? This is a very long, it's 4 hours, man. Is this like the longest stream ever? I usually stream for like 2 hours or so. Yeah, too long. Let's see if there's any other remarks or anything else you guys want to discuss. Otherwise, I'm going to go enjoy my life with my kid and my wife and stuff like that. Well, I guess this concludes it, my fellas. What can I say? Thank you as well. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for everybody for being here. Whenever you are around, come pass by, say hi. And what's to say? I'll see you guys another time, all right? Peace out, everybody. I'll catch you up another time. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.